All right, let's get this event begun. Am I right, guys? Somebody sent me this video, and it's just it's a little. I don't know if it's that different, but it's interesting. It's called "Idiot Influencers: The Poggers Community." I've heard the term "poggers" thrown around loosely. I've thrown it around before. It's a silly little new age word that I've appropriated, and now it's lame because I've used it. Isn't that incredible? But yeah, it seems to be about a few different people. The reaction channels content is there. Asmongold, Hassan, a bunch of stuff. So I'm curious. It's going to be a silly little watch. So let's get this started. It's by Rob's Media. And yeah, let's go. Thank you so much for the $2 from Mason, who says poop. Incredible stuff, brother. Thank you so much. Let's get this going.
Every year we see innovation from just chatting streamers as they push boundaries and ask the question,
push boundaries. Just chatting streamers. I think it's too early to make a joke about that in the video.
how can we do even less?
I will never, ever hang out with you. And I don't care about you because I don't know you. I can't. There are 13,000 people here. I can't care about all of you because I don't know any of you.
That's so sad, brother. I know all of you in the chat. Okay? Give me money. Just kidding.
You are absolutely responsible for your audience and what they're saying and doing.
To a degree. You know what I mean? Like, if your audience is being a little belligerent, you should at least say, hey, stop that. It sounds silly, but it can work for some people. But yeah.
And what's happening in different discords and stuff. You have to.
But you're an absolute idiot to think that gambling is only being advertised to adults only.
Well, I mean, it's gambling, boobs, a lot of stuff being advertised, not necessarily productively. I feel like there's got to come a point where we're like, hey, parents, what do you think? You know, maybe they don't let your kid do this. Personally, if I had like a 13-year-old boy going on Twitch and looking at Amaranth on there, you know, what am I supposed to say? When I was 13, I took the first American Pie movie into my bedroom by myself, and I watched that one scene. So, if you know what I'm saying, then you know what I'm saying.
I promise you, your kids are not going to get traumatized seeing a bit of shoulder.
They're not going to. Let's be real.
Amaranth is hardly a good role model, and Maya's just saying this to avoid an awkward situation. What? Why? Like, the people that say this work at...
I mean, Amaranth's probably not the best role model, but you know what? Like I said, like, you know, parents kind of have to watch, and if your kid's looking at that and you don't like it, you're going to have to do something about it, but... I was a 13-year-old boy, brothers. It's not like they're physically doing anything to them, right?
McDonald's, dude. It's called capitalism. You are literally degrading yourself for currency every fucking day. Fans is like significantly better as a way to make money.
No, it's not.
Than your average wage slave job.
Not really. I mean, I guess it's a matter of opinion. For one, you're probably not going to be successful enough on OnlyFans. Number two, if you want to be, you have to spread them. You have to go pretty far. And I feel like a lot of people aren't really aware of that. They feel like you could just, you know, throw some feet up there and you're good. You have to put a lot of effort into it. And it feels like degrading. You know, you're taking apart. I used to do a joking OF where I'd like paint my belly. And like even then I felt like I was being objectified. It was a weird feeling. I was like, wow, women might have it hard. Especially trans women. Anyway. Okay. Sorry, that made me giggle. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. The point that I'm making here is I don't think it's necessarily that good. Also, I forgot to say, if any moment in this video resonates with you, timestamp down below.
Welcome back to Idiot Influencers.
Hey, don't be mean.
Today you'll be going after the Poggers community, a loose friend group made up of the top streamers on YouTube and Twitch. These include people like Hassan, Ludwig, QT Cinderella, Asmongold, Pokimane, XQC, Justaminx, J Schlatt, Mizkif.
I feel like a lot of these people aren't necessarily in the same group anymore, right? Didn't Minx have a meltdown, and Hassan's kind of in like the political community, but maybe I just don't know.
Austin Show.
And isn't like the Miz or whatever his name is, the Mizkif, didn't he kind of disconnect a little bit because he had some crazy stuff going on?
Denims, Amaranth, Moist Critical, and much, much more.
Is Amaranth part of that community? Do I just not understand what the Poggers community is?
Now, not all of these guys are horrible people, but I have loads of problems with them as a collective, with regards to their content, hypocritical messaging, farming hostile audiences, and covering up drama to make themselves seem like good people. It's all about...
Not like Papa Gut. I'm not a good people.
reputation with these...
It kind of seems more like it's just about the popular creators, the popular white ones. This guy probably hates white people. Am I right, guys?
Guys, so let's tear it down.
reaction content. Who would ever do something like that? Terrible.
If you saw the latest episode of YouTube history, you'll know what points I'm about to make. Reaction content
I don't know what YouTube history is.
has always been around, whether it comes from interesting commentary videos to whatever the hell Jinx was making back in 2015.
Yep, I like to think that, I understand that reaction content in general is kind of on like a line. There's like a moral line. Some of it's acceptable, some of it's not. I like to think that mine is the most acceptable of the reaction content. I like to think that I say some stuff that transforms the video enough to kind of make it my own. Certainly better than XQC. But XQC, he's like a frail guardian. You know, and as long as he's getting criticism, you can't really criticize me because he does it much worse. He barely adds any commentary, and when he does, it's just a lot. It's just very fast talking, and he doesn't really pause the video. So
his content was rightfully criticized, since he just watched the video in its entirety with little to no commentary. He'd just sit there.
Hey, but he made a face.
Doing nothing with whatever stupid bucket hat he had on that day. Some modern-day reaction
Well, I didn't know he had a bucket hat, so now that he said that, maybe he wasn't so bad.
streamers are no different, though for some reason they don't get as much hate. There are those who oppose this practice, but not as many as before. The majority of people in the Poggers community are React streamers, with some like Hassan, XQC, and Asmongold abusing the format. They also just sit there, adding nothing to the video. At least Jinx did this.
Well, just to be clear, listen, I'm not the biggest Hassan guy, but Hassan, well, this is the thing. Hassan, from what he puts on his just YouTube, he does. Well, actually, I haven't checked in with him for a while, so maybe he doesn't. I know that he will have videos where he does add a good amount of commentary, and same thing with Asmongold. The thing is, I don't watch, and they would, for me, because I obviously do the same thing. They might pass what I would consider acceptable, which you might not consider as well, but it might pass what I would consider like a level of acceptability, because they would do content similar to the way I do content, right? And obviously, if I'm doing it, then I think it's acceptable. Whether it is or isn't, that's a social conversation, guys. But I don't know how much of it that Hassan just watches on his stream without doing any real reaction, and just because that's just what you're allowed to do for some reason. On your stream is just because is just react. Don't really put anything in there, and he has done it before. I don't know how often he does it, where he doesn't provide commentary when he does the things. But I do know that he'll get up and he'll watch, he'll get up, go poopies, and get his mommy's chicken and stuff like that every once in a while. And I don't know how often it happens. He might just have it going just to get his stream through the day, because when you're streaming for 9 hours, it's got to be boring as fuck. And I could not imagine doing 9 hours of commentary on anything, which is why I don't work for 9 hours, because I can set my own schedule, guys. Did you know that? It means that when I'm streaming, I'm generally going to be more, I would say entertaining, generally speaking, because when I'm streaming, that I'm going to be doing something. But, yeah, whatever.
The 10-minute videos. These guys will do this for 90-minute long YouTube documentaries, or full movies or episodes of TV shows. And they usually have no good defenses for this, which resulted in XQC embarrassing himself on the H3 podcast.
People would rather watch me full screen cam do the fucking worm.
Do that.
Prime.
No, he did kind of hit the worm pretty hard.
Watch do it for a week. Do a week of no reaction content and see how many fucking views you get. Oh, he's crying in the corner.
He's doing the worm, bro. Come on.
Okay, sure. I mean, that's content, man. It's original content, at least. Yes, do that, bro.
XQC was so wrong in this entire debate, but I don't know. There's just something about the guy that I enjoy. He's just fucking ridiculous.
Dude, do a
you fucking love it, man.
Bro,
this is the most money you've had in the past fucking 4 years, bitch.
It's awesome. Do a week of no react content.
Oh, man.
Yeah, this was over because I think this had a lot to do, well, a few different things, but Vince Vintage, buddy of mine, friend of the stream, he doesn't like it. Like XQC, he reacts to 20-minute videos and puts a minute of commentary, and most of it's just gibberish and doesn't really transform anything. He doesn't have a level of respect for the react content. It's just about money farming as much as possible, So that's a bit different than, I guess other types of commentary that are generally considered a little more acceptable.
Even a day.
Though it's hard for me to defend Ethan here, as he comes off as a hypocrite when he defends Hassan's content. Hassan does
not necessarily. Hassan, again, okay, we don't have to go over it again.
Same thing as XQC, though he occasionally inserts a rant about whatever political mumbo-jumbo is going on through his head. Now again,
I mean, it's not really true. Like I said, maybe the stuff that doesn't make it to YouTube is basically nothing. But on the videos that I've seen of Hassan actually trying, he does do meaningful commentary, even if I don't like it, right?
It's not the idea of doing reaction content that I hate, it's how these guys do it. If they added more commentary to what they were watching, I'd have no problem. But they'll leave a good chunk of it running while staring at it, or in Hassan's case, you'll get up to take a shit while leaving the video playing.
Yeah, that does seem to happen. fairly frequently with him.
Broadcast. Hold on, I gotta move real quick.
I love the part where he added, he had his editor add him like not getting up at one point. Like he got up and he had his editor make it seem like he never got up. Whoa.
And when he got called out for it by William Akshow, he resorted to leaving a little video of him, silently watching it to make newcomers believe he was still there. During this drama, XQC
That's funny.
got the brunt of the criticism due to one of the original creators he reacted to, Lamino. In July of 2023,
that was where everything started, baby.
Lamino released a 100-minute long documentary about the JFK assassination.
That's my thing, because like listen, I would have reacted to that too if there was something to react to. But like I've had it where people have sent me stuff and I'll watch it and maybe I'll give it 5 minutes, and if I'm not saying anything, I'm like, guys, there's nothing for me to do here. Like I am not giving you commentary. So there's really no point in trying to do the reaction. I try not to do that type of stuff. I mean, I'm sure you can go through my back catalog and find some stuff that's like less than stellar versions of commentary. But I usually will turn it off. I try to do stuff that's like more social conversation-ish, you know?
Which XQC reacted to live on stream, and then re-uploaded to his YouTube channel of over 2 million subs. It's very telling how lazy this
how many DOMs
is, as his commentary.
Well, it's lazy in general. Even if I double the length of this video, playing it on 25% increase speed, this is still a lazy job. I've had very significantly low effort into it. You know what I mean?
It only adds around 15 minutes to the original.
It's a very strange way to go about it.
Okay, true. Yeah, makes sense.
Dude, first time commenting here. I saw a hilarious comment about your video taking so long because you talk so much about your own life. You do. It's wholesome, but half of it's ADHD. I'm the same. Yeah. Hey, listen. I embrace the yap, brothers. I embrace the yap, man. If it's not for some people, then, you know, I would say don't really watch it. But, you know. He probably wouldn't like my content. Well, he seems to be saying that the content's fine as long as you talk over. Like, he's saying multiple times that that's acceptable. I imagine he wouldn't have a problem.
But isn't strange
maybe I'm
good,
wrong.
though, to build a strong alibi if it's like kind of far out and kind of crazy? I mean...
I tell you what, man, and them Y2K, man, and them mainframes gonna come crashing down on that.
This is actually very true.
Man, I like it down.
But Boomhauer, in Boomhauer's defense, he seems to be a pretty hardworking, intelligent guy. Just maybe he has some kind of, nonverbal autism, right? So
Apocalypse Now, man, and I'm lining up now. The horror.
This is not at all transformative, it's just flat out content theft.
True.
2 months later, Lamino would post a 5 million sub Q&A, where he addressed the controversy.
I don't mind people reacting to my videos, but I do mind when they play the entirety of my video. A facecam in the corner with the occasional interruption does nothing to address that issue. My video is still being played from beginning to end in someone else's stream or video. It's neither ethical nor necessary to feature the entirety of someone else's work, just to provide commentary on that work.
what I would say is it depends on the type of work. Right. I mean, I think that for this guy's video, I try to split like reaction content, or I guess we'll say, because again, reaction could be like, you know, take part of the video, et cetera, et cetera. But we'll say full reaction work into 2 different things. I'd say like entertainment reactions and then actual conversational reactions. So, and this is something that happens more in like a political YouTube-ish sphere, but entertainment reactions would be like the Lamino video, where it's this video essay about a particular topic that's really more about the watch, and it's like, oh, this is an interesting thing to watch and listen to. Whereas you'll have different videos, and again, they're more in the political community, the commentary or social political community, where it's about a particular topic and it's supposed to inspire a conversation. And I think in those cases, the full video reactions are more necessary, even because a lot of times you'll have disagreements on things, and it happens a lot from what I've seen. You know, like look at the Noah Samson and the Think Before You Sleep video. The 2 of them go back and forth, and they'll pick different parts of what the other person's saying. They won't represent the other thing that the person said that might make that seem more have a better point. So they'll kind of pick and choose what points to answer and what not to answer. They'll have a misrepresentation, whether it's intentional or not, of the other person. And I feel like it can get messy. And that's why I think that that's a general decent argument for some full video reactions if it's in a conversational space, if that makes sense. You know, like when the first girl, Illimation, she made a video about how when she was younger, you know, diet culture gave her a toxic relationship with food and eating. And then she was able to kind of escape that, and she talked about her experiences with being fat. And then Think Before You Sleep, I think, misunderstood the general point that she was making, which I understood because, like, I'm a fat fuck. And when I was a kid, I used to be so wrapped up in, like, diet culture that I would just bring, like, a Diet Coke to school. And I wouldn't I wouldn't eat anything else. But then I get home and you binge, right? And so I'm 34. Back then, we didn't have better conversations or even really decent conversations about you know, the way that you're supposed to engage with food in a healthy, productive way, or dieting in a healthy, productive way. And that was the core point of it. But because I don't know if he did it on purpose or he just didn't understand, he didn't represent that particularly well with his audience. And it probably would have been a little more productive if he showed more of or the entire video. Because again, it's a conversational situation. So that's just my 2 cents on that.
If movie review channels can function without playing the entire movie, then so too can reaction channels.
Then XQC responded to this in a very confusing way.
Thank you for the $2 from Seth. Hey, Papa, first time in the stream, do it fart. Incredible. Thank you. Of course it does.
Here's my take in. I don't necessarily agree because I feel like his take goes against himself. But I respect at least enough of it to do what he wants because it's his content. So we're just not gonna do that. But I just disagree entirely. How so? Because when you want things to be used like that, okay, you lose out on the nature of the information. And what that does, you're opening the door to people just not getting full context and analyzing and researching things in a way that actually doesn't go with the video's vision.
Yeah, I agree with this. That's what I just said. I just think I did a better job of expressing it. But again, like I said, entertainment reactions versus conversational reactions. This is like an entertainment reaction that he did. He didn't have a conversational reaction because he didn't really apply anything to the video, right?
Such as, what if somebody says, I go, whoa, Pog, champ, Pog, this is insane. And they put my face in his reaction on a weird Gamba website ad, right? Well, the nature of what's going on is that I'm excited for something that isn't that. They put down a gambling thing, it loses its nature. It's
what the fuck is he talking about?
being used in a way that is not intended. I think that I would like to assume, or like to think that the way I watch his videos are still in the way the video is intended to be consumed.
A big reason why people watch these is due to their connection with said streamer. A lot of these fans lack proper social skills.
Yeah, well, that's probably true. And that does open up another conversation of like, would this person or these individuals that really like their streamer a lot, would they watch the video without the streamer? Or is there a new audience being introduced from that streamer to the video creator? These are different conversations that you can have.
Though they feel a sense of company watching these Twitch streamers. Watching them watch YouTube videos feels like one massive watch party, though it's all fake.
Hey, it's all real, brother.
These streamers have pretty bland personalities, though their audiences gaslight themselves into believing otherwise. They watch.
Well, you know, I don't watch Pokimane because she's, you know, let me tell you something. I know Pokimane. Listen, actually, this is like a side note. I have a TikTok, you know what I mean? And I have this TikTok where I go on, and it might just be dancing TikToks. But that might not be true. But I've been seeing a lot of Pokimane on there, and I think she's starting to thirst trap for things, okay? I don't know what's going on, but she might be getting close to making some kind of a fansly or something, and, you know, I don't know. Personally, I don't think I'd ever check it out. Unless it was illegally, I would steal it. I would watch a leak site. You know, of course, but
them because of their influence, attractiveness, and in the case of people like Hassan, parroting political talk and
he's so fun. He's so smart, dude. What are you talking about?
Points their audience already believes.
Well, that's generally true, sure.
Now, I'm not really a politics guy. I could care less about what Hassan's or any other streamer's political beliefs are. However, that doesn't mean I should ignore their scummy tactics when it comes to spreading a message. What many in Hassan's audience don't realize is that this guy's an idiot, a manipulative idiot who is a self-admitted propagandist.
That is true. If you're not a politics guy, though, I wonder how you came to that conclusion personally. You know what I mean? Like, do you watch like another content creator or what?
But it's interesting that you call me a propagandist because I want to play you. This was your reaction to when the hospital got bombed.
I'm a propagandist.
Well, no,
For the record.
No, I'm not calling you that. I'm just saying. I'm going to play you.
I'm saying I am.
Okay, well then
I'm saying I am.
I just
before
want to
you even play it.
My problem with this is that Hassan.
Well, I mean, Hassan's being stupid, but like an actual propagandist, somebody who's lying and misinforming people to push a particular message, which I think that he is actually that thing. I mean, he's been pretty wrong fairly often. I mean, we've all got our moments, but you know, but I don't feel like rehashing old history over and over again.
Hassan tries to downplay himself as just a simple Twitch streamer when he gets backlash for his news reporting.
Well, when he gets backlash for news reporting, he's just a simple little Twitch streamer, silly guy. But when he's talking to Willie Mack, he's all of a sudden an on the ground fucking journalist who's not just reading I'm not just reading people's Twitters, okay? I'm a fucking on the ground journalist, bro.
Brother, there is no reason for me to say Twitch streamers are stupid. You already know it. You watch Twitch. You know it. We're dumb as fuck. Myself included, okay? So what do you mean? If I was a smart person, I wouldn't be getting ritualistically humiliated by socially maladjusted freaks that are agoraphobic on a daily basis. And
what is agoraphobic? Are they afraid of gore? Thank you so much for the $5, Jack Esposito. How you doing, brother? Heyo, Sussy Baka. Low-key racist for not streaming on Juneteenth. Keep up the good work. Maybe check that calendar next time. Incredible. Listen, I didn't want to stream on Juneteenth. I wanted all the black people to actually get views because my staggeringly high live count of probably 150, if I'm lucky. Most of them are black. Okay? Some of them are. Black people love me. No, it's 214. Wow, good for me, man.
mass harassment.
Okay. Black people love me, man. It's incredible stuff. Okay. That's my biggest bragging right. Is that black people like me, okay? Isn't that crazy?
Harassment campaign online.
I said it. I lied about it. I kept saying it even though it was a lie until people believed me. And then black people were like, oh yeah, we do actually like this guy. It's like incredible. I gaslit them into liking me.
But I do that for a living.
Other times, he'll treat himself as this important news source, despite getting stories wrong again and again.
I am not held up by the same journalistic standards, even though I think I do a much better job than most other news outlets in general.
This was especially evident during his
definitely not true
coverage of the Israel-Palestine conflict, where he reported on incidents without knowing the full story. Willie Mack Show did a great job covering all this, showing multiple examples. Hassan portrays himself as an on-the-ground news reporter, despite him usually just sitting in his room reading tweets. Fucking Boblox is more of an on-the-ground news reporter.
Oh Jesus, there's so much crossover. What is that community called? Those youngsters, the commentary youngster. Well, they're not really that young anymore. Well, I think Bullbox is like 25 or something. That's crazy. I don't know.
This dude is not a viable source of information. He's a biased hypocrite with no sense of morality. This guy did an interview with a self-admitted terrorist and praised him by comparing him to
Hey, Tim Houthi Chalamet. Okay? Kind of a cool name if you think about it.
Luffy from One Piece.
Is it Lofi?
Yeah, he said he's been watching it since.
Is this Lofi? Oh, it sounds like my mom trying to speak Spanish to her coworkers.
He was a
All right, baby, I'll see you soon.
kid.
No way!
Yeah.
No way!
Sick.
I'm gonna come.
Yes, that's fire. That's
So hot
Oh my
fire,
God.
dude. Let's go to the polls. You know what I mean? Pokemon Go to the polls.
We think the Houthis, Ansar Allah, is doing what Luffy would do. You should tell him that.
I've never seen
My
One Piece,
anus
but from
itches.
what I've heard, that guy has never attacked civilian ships and taken hostages. But Hassan's core audience didn't care, and even made memes about the guy. And whenever people gave Hassan reasonable criticism, he calls them racists. This is something Hassan
It's true, he's right. I am racist.
does a lot. Label his opposition as something harmful to not engage in any worthwhile discussions. And he has such a tough guy attitude about it, saying he beat the shit out of a Nazi. And then, when someone he claims is a Nazi wanted to fight him in a boxing match, he ignored it and banned anyone from chat who mentioned it.
It's kind of funny. It's kind of an own there. I mean, if you're saying just fight him, beat up the Nazi, man. I wouldn't fight Sam Hyde either. He's, I've seen him. Somehow he has the ability to channel 1,000 Chinese people into his hand. So personally, I wouldn't want to fight the guy. But Hassan, I think you could probably channel 1,000 angsty teenagers that pretend to have autism on TikTok into your hand. So I don't know what that punch is worth, but it's got to be worth something.
Then, when fans of Hassan's asked him about it at TwitchCon, he freaked out like a little bitch.
Sam Hyde, he called you out on like a boxing event. Are you interested in like the boxing scene or not?
I don't know why you guys are so into this shit. He's a Nazi. Like, I don't know. What's happening right now? It's so whack, bro. Like, I don't understand why all you motherfuckers have to like run around with this shit. What's going on? What's going on? Nothing. Get the fuck out of my face, bro. I don't, dude. No. Why are you fucking talking to me about some dumbass fucking weirdo Nazi? What's wrong with you? What's wrong? Explain yourself. What do you mean?
Explain yourself.
You think it's fucking funny, dude?
There's another instance
Did
where
we
Hassan
win?
was arguing about trans issues and blatantly calling anyone slightly opposing him as transphobic.
Yeah, we're really going into the fucking the depths of the lore here.
Then, when a trans fan of his says they disagree, he becomes transphobic.
I hope that the rest of
I will say, because I'm not a big Hassan fan, but I will say, like, we've heard these things a million times. You know what I mean? And I don't want to, because obviously this video is pretty well made so far. I'm only 10 minutes in, but I will say, and maybe I don't know if I speak for other people, I will say there's going to come a time, regardless of how bad or annoying or stupid Hassan is, that people are going to get tired of like the Hassan hate. They're going to be like, okay, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm just letting you know. You know, that's why it's good to cover the new stuff. But maybe I've just heard this Hassan shit so many times that I'm just like, okay, I'll fucking, maybe it's just me. Could just be me, you know? But I'm just saying. Thank you for the $5, Seth. Hopefully putting in my 2 weeks tomorrow. Then I'm going to start my bounty hunt on Jack. Watch out, Buster. XOXO. What does that mean, brother? Oh my God. Hey, don't harm Jack. You leave Jack Esposito out of this, okay?
of your life is as horrible as it is every single day. Okay, there you go.
Oh my God.
Suck my dick. I despise you. I despise you more than anything else on the planet. You are fucking cancer, okay? You are cancer in this community, and you're cancer in every community. Suck my dick. For the past 15 months,
you want cancer to suck your dick? That's crazy, dude.
Been able to fucking
I don't. I want to keep that.
hide in these ranks. You catboy, move your catboy ass out of here. You are never
I forgot. That's fucked up to call a trans person a fucking cat boy. It's crazy.
welcome. You are never going to
Crazy.
be unbanned. No matter how difficult it is, no matter how much you want to get unbanned, I will never unban you. You are now banished into the fucking shadow realm.
Hassan's audience usually doesn't care,
Yeah, that's Compton, bro. That's crazy.
as they only watch him to hear what they want to hear. He's a grifter who parrots far left talking points to make money off of those online who suffer from political brain rot. Because let's be real, this guy is not some hardworking socialist fighting for the common people. He's a rich capitalist who makes money off of other people's hard work. Or as some like to say, he's a campaign socialist. This dude reacts to other people's
I think it's champagne socialists, unless I misheard that. Not campaign socialists. Just letting you know. Sorry.
videos and tweets for a living, donates money his fans raised for him, owns a Porsche Taycan, lives in a nearly $3 million mansion, and grew up rich due to his family. I mean, his uncle is the founder of the Young Turks, for heaven's sake. He says he
Yeah, but they were a lowly channel of 1 million followers when he first got his job with them. What are you talking about? Like, obviously, there's no nepotism involved. Thank you for the $2 from Seth again. Oh, you want a booty hunt, Seth? Well, as long as it's consensual, brother. I can respect it.
hates capitalism so much, but reaps all the benefits from it. I mean, this guy wears a tax the rich t-shirt, and then complained on Twitter when the Mexican government had to tax him for bringing over so much camera equipment. This dude also thinks the concept of
It's funny. Did he really?
and then complained on
Landed in Mexico immediately got detained for customs by having too many pieces of electronic equipment for what they made it up, for which they made up a number and forced me to pay taxes on. Wow. And the context is Mexico has taxes on bringing too many pieces of electronic equipment. There is no reason to believe this number was made up. Wow, Hassan criticizing a non-first world country. I don't know what world it's in, but it's not America.
Twitter when the Mexican government had to tax him for bringing over so much camera equipment. This dude also thinks the concept of intellectual property shouldn't exist, meaning he thinks it's right for anybody to upload anything they want without actually owning it.
I think that as far as like rigorous control over IP, I personally don't have it. I don't believe in it. I don't think it's a good thing.
What do you mean you don't believe in it?
That's just like a stupid thing to say. Like, I believe in intellectual property. I think that what I'm doing respects the intellectual property of other people. And maybe I'm wrong, and that's fine. But I think it's stupid to say, like, you don't believe in intellectual property. It's like a ridiculous thing to say. Like, why?
I don't understand what that means. You think that people should be able to steal your videos and upload it?
Yeah.
This coming from the guy who watches full episodes of TV shows on streams while getting donations.
That do be what you do sometimes, I guess. Why isn't it playing?
I remember when he wanted to debate Too Mad a couple of years ago over political shit, and he instead ignored him to watch an entire episode of MasterChef.
You think if I stop right now to go fucking debate
Too Mad seemed like kind of a bad guy, just to be clear. Rest in peace. Definitely struggled with a lot of mental health issues.
on memes that were popping 3 hours ago with Too Mad, you think these people are gonna be happy?
Ooh, you pussy! You pussy! Oh my god, he's putting me in the same spot as Destiny. He's like, oh my god, I'm scared. He's so good at making like the most bitch-made, scared ass sound cool.
Memes that were popping 3 hours ago.
It's not memes. He calls it memes because it gives him an out. I'm not giving you an out. I came for your head.
Should I debate Too Mad instead of watching MasterChef?
Yes, you should. I'm Too Mad. I'm literally retarded. There's less retarded.
Hey!
I also have to mention
he's dead now. We can't do anything to stop it. This does sound. We'll turn it off. Sorry, guys.
Hassan Stooge, Frogan. She's
yeah. You know, I maintain that she's not that bad looking. I heard that pussy was bomb.
basically this whiny, chronically online streamer who started out as a moderator for Hassan. Her and Casey Tron have recently been making these idiotic takes, where if you're not constantly talking about the Israel-Palestine conflict, you're basically supporting genocide. This is some Noah Samson levels of bad.
Well, I do eat a lot of hamburgers, so I support that genocide. Thank you for $2 from Roomba Rocket. You should totally watch the Bromy video today. Maybe.
Faith. When made fun of for this, these two basically made lame insults. Later, Frogan called out Ludwig after he donated $10K to a pro-Palestine fundraiser because he didn't do it publicly enough. She's mad he didn't make a massive deal out of it and called him a cracker.
So I personally—
Hey! Use the soft A, dude. I have no problem with my dark-skinned brothers using cracker. And sisters. But you gotta put a little respect on it, you know? Make it friendly. You cracker? You know?
Donated 10K. Because I think it is worthwhile. And if you guys got some extra bread, I would recommend you donate. But I won't throw it on you, you know what I mean? No thanks. And some people are going to say that, you know what I mean? That's why it's the difference.
This is a cracker take.
Difference between like, hey, I can put my money where my mouth is.
You know what's crazy? If I didn't see her saying that on the screen, I would have thought she was like a 17-year-old white kid from the Hamptons. That's a cracker tank. That's a cracker tank. She sounds like fucking Luis from Bob's Burgers, which by the way is played by a white Jew. And I love the Jews because I am one. So just to be clear, you sound white as hell, and that's not a bad thing. I love white people, but no more than any other person because I love all the colors of the rainbow. Well, I guess more than that, because white isn't on the rainbow, but you understand my point.
But I don't need to put your money there. I don't need to enter a fucking debate.
Debate?
About whether that's worthwhile.
Thinking about it, like think of the Twitch streamers that haven't said shit about Palestine.
Okay.
Think about the Twitch streamers
I'm
that
thinking
haven't,
about
or like streamers in general. We're gonna go to YouTube as well.
Yeah,
YouTube and Twitch
so-
streamers that haven't said shit about Palestine
Yeah.
until engagement was threatened. You know? But the ones that got the most shit for talking about Palestine since October 7th have been me, Caroline, Hassan.
Well, I think it's because you thought it was a good thing that what happened on the 7th of October. I think that's why people are upset with you. But, yeah, whatever.
By the way, this is the same woman who cried after Mizkif made this joke.
Broken was there last year. How are you a rising star twice? A falling star award? Bro, that'd be so funny. I would clear.
Damn, she got fucking decimated. He dropped the bomb on her. Damn. With how many times? I wonder if she's on TikTok, because I get told every day that I fell off. And there's a level of truth to it, brothers. But that's okay, because we're doing very well. At least that's my cope. But I wonder how she would handle that.
Honestly,
Fuck, her glasses. I have to. I'm supposed to have new glasses in soon. I gotta call my glasses place, because it's taking them way too long. I gotta call tomorrow. Guys, remind me to call the glasses place tomorrow.
okay, it makes me really upset. I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to cry, but it really does make me really upset.
I'm sure these people actually care about this conflict, but constantly posting stuff like this makes it seem more like you care about virtue signaling than actually contributing something positive for the world.
I'm sorry, I forgot to say, you need to stop drinking Coke Zero on stream.
Why?
It's boycott.
Wait, is it?
You're preaching pro-Palestine and you're drinking this boycott, so please, Hassan, at least pretend. Do it.
At least pretend, Hassan. Oh man, we've gone over this a couple times.
Okay, I'll put it in.
He probably should have pretended a little more, but this does obviously make it seem like this obviously does make him seem a little like he doesn't necessarily respect the values of what he's advocating for.
I'll put it in a glass. Is Pepsi okay?
No.
No soda. I didn't know. I didn't know it was like that.
But
yeah, the caffeine's bad for you, brother. As you get older, starts kicking your ass.
Thing is, nobody cares about them as a person. They just want to hear their political takes parroted back at them. In Hassan's case, nobody ever watches his content, unless it's a reaction or a political rant. When he was on his Australia trip, barely anybody watched his IRL streams. This pissed him off so much, he ranted about it privately.
Maybe. I mean, listen, here's the thing. I don't think Hassan's particularly interesting or entertaining. It depends. You know, first and foremost, anytime you're reacting to anything, the source material is always going to matter. Whether you have a high effort reaction, which is what this guy's video is, it's a very high effort reaction to put a lot of work into it, or a low effort reaction of what I have. You know, the subject does matter. Number two, like someone like Asmongold seems to pull numbers even when he doesn't do his particular reaction content. He pulls numbers when he does video game content. People seem to like him in general, what he has to say about things in general. I think it depends on the person. I don't think Hassan could really do anything else without it. But then again, as much as I don't like him, he still has like a decent following when it comes to his political conversation and commentary that he inserts himself into. You know, so.
And then played dumb when people asked about it. I honestly don't get why people gave XQC so much shit when he reacted to this Gaza footage, when Hassan does the same. The difference being that Hassan...
Well, because I think they might have been, from what I remember, I think it was because the thumbnail was insensitive or something like that. People had an issue with how insensitive the thumbnail was or something, from what I remember.
Pretends to be smart, but is secretly a whiny ball of caca.
Okay.
XQC is very blatantly a dumbass.
Sparky's favorite snack is red. It grows from trees.
Apple.
And it's yummy.
Apple.
What's Sparky's favorite snack?
Apple.
Apples, yeah.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
There's nothing special about Mr. Piker. He's just a massive hypocrite. But there's one issue he's very hypocritical about, though a ton of other streamers share the same mentality. Back in February, I released an episode of Idiot Influencers about OnlyFans influencers. The purpose of this video is to point out legitimate issues I have with these content creators. I criticized them for promoting lewd content to minors, pushing for parasocial relationships, and acting entitled.
Sorry, let me just...
Influencers.
Promoting adult content. Wow.
Back in February, I released an episode of Idiot Influencers about OnlyFans influencers. The purpose of this video is to point out legitimate issues I have with these content creators.
Like I said, like, you know, I don't necessarily care. I mean, I think that parents need to do a better job of limiting their children's consumption, we'll say, of content. That's really all I can really say. You know, I understand that we're all kind of a community and we should all do some stuff, but at the end of the day, I don't necessarily care about boobs I was a 13-year-old boy. You know what I mean? I don't think seeing boobs hurt me. I think that being able to engage with porn definitely had a negative impact on me. Specifically in the way where, because it was online, it was very easy to go down a rabbit hole. It went down like a rabbit hole where, so it's like started out with some boobs, and then eventually we got to, you know, short stack goblin horse. I'm just kidding about that, but you know, it gets you desensitized, and I think that that's the greater issue in general than just the existence of it. So I don't necessarily care. You know, in order for them to consume the content, they're going to have to get their parents' money. I'm not super concerned with the boobs.
I criticize them for promoting lewd content to minors, pushing for parasocial relationships, and acting entitled, while also trying to push a false narrative.
Isn't that tough? He's not a streamer, is he?
About how successful this line of work can be. And the main group of people I called out for promoting that was the Poggers community. These guys will gladly promote OF and fansly creators, though it's for ulterior motives. They want money, and will gladly take sponsorships from them to the detriment of their audience's mental health. They don't care if their viewers suffer from porn.
Well, we have to get to a certain point where we assign some agency to the audience, right? First of all, not all of their audience are children. That's number one. Number two, like, again, like, you have to be responsible enough where if I'm going to decide to sponsor some OnlyFans person, which I'm not going to do unless it was my own. You have to be, you know, you have to be an adult to be responsible enough for yourself to just not engage with it if you don't want to engage with it. I don't think that that's a particularly hot take, so.
Porn addictions. I mean, some of them don't even believe in porn addictions. There's also breadtubers like Ethan is Online, who outright said it's not real.
Porn addiction is actually one of the most over-reported addictions.
Whoa, look at this guy! He's a really bad person.
By the majority of people who report that they have it not actually exhibiting any symptoms of real porn addiction, to the point where there are prominent psychologists and sex researchers who argue that porn addiction isn't even a real thing.
I would just disagree with that. You know, when you have people like jerking off at work, or, you know, being late to work, or, you know, doing it for like 3 hours a day, they probably have some level of addiction.
So comparing porn addiction to something like actual hard drugs is fucking insane.
No, I don't agree. I think the porn addiction probably isn't as bad as hard drugs. Just like I would say like food addiction isn't as bad as hard drugs, but I would still say that there is an addiction that can have a profoundly negative impact. I think it's difficult to figure out the lines because people that are porn addicted probably function better than people who are like drug addicted, because it just has a different effect on your body. You know, you do drugs, I feel like that would have a different psychological effect on you than like looking at pornography. So I would say that the symptoms or the expression of that isn't as bad as like heroin, but it certainly exists. I think it's certainly problematic, and I think that it's so normalized in our society though that we haven't correctly identified how it manifests. So those are a lot of different ways, things to keep in mind with that.
However, this has not been updated since 2013, and there have been many studies conducted since then that suggest that brain activity when viewing pornography is actually similar to that when engaging in other addictive behaviors.
They mostly
like pooping, huh? You guys ever go for a poop and then you kind of suck the log back up your butt so you can feel it again? I don't. Who would say that? Am I right?
To say this because they want to promote sex work for monetary reasons. I mean, Ethan.
I don't think he always his degenerate girlfriend, not because of the OnlyFans, but because she's a liar. Yeah, I guess she would want to promote that. Although I don't know if he plugs that explicitly, but I think that he's just somebody. I think that he's like just incredibly left and doesn't care. Like, he's so left that he'll like hate on somebody catching pedophiles and run defense for pedophiles. I've covered that in another video. I'm not going to cover it again here.
Himself is dating an ethot named Lex Updog, who thought it was appropriate to take lewd photos inside the super mega offices. This take from Ethan legit.
What the fuck are you talking about that? I don't think that had anything to do with any of the conversation around that topic, but okay.
Legitimately pisses me off. He's downplaying a serious mental issue to protect the reputation of a harmful, exploitative industry. Maybe he should just.
Maybe. I guess. I mean, the exploitation in the industry is usually the women getting exploited, not so much the guys jerking off to the women. Those are usually the exploiters. But
drink the bleach instead of putting it in his hair. Now, as hinted at before.
Okay, a little edgy there, bud.
My biggest gripe with the Poggers community when it comes to this topic is their hypocrisy. They will rightfully call out the negative effects of gambling in the manosphere, but not adult content. For the former, I think it's a fair.
Yeah, again, I would say that both can be negative. I would say that I personally think gambling is worse than a porn addiction. Honestly, I mean, I guess it depends on what kind, but that's what my general consensus would be. I could be wrong, but yeah, whatever. I still think they're both bad for young people. But
fair point to make that gambling shouldn't be promoted to minors on Twitch, as that platform is 13+. People were rightfully calling out Jake Paul and RightScum for doing the same thing back in 2019, so I'm glad they're consistent when calling out people like XQC and It's Slicker.
I love when people are like, nah, dude, their fucking fans are like not gambling. Like, I love when people are like, nah, dude, we're not. Our fans aren't gambling, bro. Like, our fans aren't gambling. We're just doing it. We're just doing it ourselves. Like, we're just doing it to get the bag. It's like, dude.
I also think that one of the big issues, excuse me. I think that one of the the big issues with gambling too is that there's a lot of misinformation when it comes to the gambling. For instance, they'll get backed by these particular companies, and then the companies will either give them a bunch of money to gamble, or they will kind of fuck with the algorithm to make it seem like their gambling is more successful than the general person would engage in. And so doing that, for one, obviously, fudging the numbers, having them win more often than they should, that obviously is going to give you the wrong impression about gambling. But giving them the money to payroll it is also going to give you some kind of a when you gamble and lose, it's upsetting. When you give people the money and they no longer, it doesn't really matter. I'm not talking about paying them for the sponsorship. There are some that like legitimately bankroll and like give them the money for it. When you don't have the negative, of losing money be meaningful in any capacity, it also downplays how negative the gambling is. So I think that those are the two aspects that make gambling worse. Like we said, like there are proportionalities. I wouldn't say porn addiction is as bad as doing heroin, just like I wouldn't say being food addicted is as bad as being an alcoholic, although maybe it is, honestly. But like I said, I don't think I think that the gambling is worse. That's just personally what I'm talking about,
dude. Yeah.
When I talk about Ethan versus Boogie today, what's to talk about?
You think a company is just gonna give you $2 million fucking a month, dude, for an unsuccessful ad campaign?
However,
I don't want
they
this.
clearly don't think the problem that those same young fans are getting hooked on porn promoted by fellow streamers like Denims, Amaranth, Morgpie, and any other titty streamer on Twitch. Porn websites are already oversaturated, so these adult content creators go on more appropriate sites like Twitch to get a new viewer base, a younger viewer base.
Yeah, I just I don't think that they're going on there to get a younger viewer base. Just to be clear, I think that oftentimes when people do bad things, it's not because they're bad people. So I don't think they're going on there like rubbing their hands together going, let's get all the young people. I think it's more than it's like, oh, look, we're making money on OnlyFans if we go here. And like I said, like you're not supposed to have access to OnlyFans if you're a young person unless you steal your mom's credit card and she doesn't notice the charge. So
it's a podcast I want to bring up, hosted by Casey Tron, Denims, and Anissa Jamha. This particular episode,
is that her name, Jamha?
Streamed live on February 27th, 2023. Basically, they bring up their issues of online gambling.
I just assume like they don't have like a lot of money to spend on, I don't know.
That's the saddest part though, is like it's just getting people into debt, and a lot of them like online gambling is such a problem.
You could argue a similar thing when it comes to money, people spending money on OnlyFans, and I don't think people talk a lot about that. But there are people who are addicted to like paying money for that kind of stuff, for whatever reason. So that's something to talk about too. I don't know how many people are addicted to buying their content. I don't really know, but it's something that it is absolutely something.
I don't think people know. Like, so when, drug addiction, food addiction, all these things, like you can see it on a person. Gambling addiction, someone can hide that for a very long time.
I mean, do you guys
maybe, I don't know.
saw Slicker? Like,
yeah.
Only 30 minutes earlier, Anissa said this about adult content.
It's funny because they're doing, like, he did exactly what they're always like, oh, here's these fucking cam girls showing fucking porn to 12-year-olds. And it's like, we all know here that, like, those cam girls, like, don't have, like, a 12-year-old audience. Like, I'm sure there's, like, some curious, like, boys that go in there ever.
Listen, there's plenty of boys going on there to circumvent their mom's porn filters to go jerk off to their tits. That's definitely exists, just to be clear, okay?
Every once in a while. But for the most part, it's like they're fucking watching games. Like, they're not watching Amaranth. Like,
maybe.
But it's just funny. I don't know. The hypocrisy is just so funny. And I guess it's just like, wow, so it really is only wrong because it's a woman. It's just like, wow, they really hate women.
It's the same with like OnlyFans.
I mean, there might be a factor for some people, the hating of women, but I don't know if it's easy to brush it off, and it seems like an example of somebody just hiding behind an identity that they have. Like I said, I would be like, yeah, it's a problem too, but I don't think it's as big of a problem, But their argument just seems very dismissive to the real issue for some people of like, inappropriate relationships with pornography, we'll say.
And it's like people being mad about OnlyFans, but not Pornhub, right? Like,
Mhm.
I mean, now they've moved the goalposts. Like,
Well, I think it's because Pornhub is a site for adults. And it's not, well, I mean, like kids can access it. It's probably easier for kids to access the hub than it is Twitch. But, I think it's because it's explicitly like, hey, you shouldn't be here if you're a certain age.
porn is bad. I've seen a lot of like these like radicalized men. Sorry, my nose is so fucking plugged right now.
You're right, though. They are starting with this whole like porn is bad, just like Aiden was on about, because it's some Andrew Tate shit, isn't it?
Yes, it's
Just because Andrew Tate, an actual sex trafficking rapist, says something's bad, that doesn't mean that's instantly good. Like I said, I don't think that the existence of the content is the problem. I think that the ease of going down a rabbit hole, especially on the internet, is a problem. You know, when you're young, and like, let's say you're an older person, so when you were young, you went and found your dad's fucking titty magazine. That's not gonna matter, right? Because you're just looking at tits. You can't really go any further. If you're somebody who's like 13 years old and you stumble upon like fucking boobs, and all of a sudden you look at piss porn, like you're gonna spiral, man, because like the internet is so unregulated. I think it's probably better now than when I was young, because that shit happened to me, bro. Like, I'm a degenerate. I'm not proud of it. I'm just telling you, like, honest. I'm just being honest. But it's different, right? And I think that conversation should be had.
going back to purity culture. Like, we're reverting further and further back into like this like I think they're trying to get back to this time period where they felt like they were in more control overall, right? Which is like this purity Christian, like saving yourself for your partner, or whatever the like porn rots your brain, or whatever the argument is.
It definitely does rot your brain.
But it started with OnlyFans, and I 100% believe that it's an anger towards like women having full control over their body and being able to decide like what sold at what price, and like, you know.
I don't think so. I don't think most people have that interpretation. I think that that's just some people probably think like that, but I think that that's just easy for them to think so that they can dismiss any criticism against them.
Who they're going to sell it to. And it's really weird because you'll hear a lot of these men talk about how like OnlyFans.
It's interesting how like these people are desperately trying to intellectualize what they're doing to justify it. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things where just don't do that. You know, just don't pretend that you have this like really good point of why like what you're doing is perfectly acceptable and okay. You know,
and like women.
It's not even the OF. It's like, again, the potential advertisements of young people is generally the argument, right? But
a lot of the top creators on OnlyFans are men. A lot of men.
Oh, my chat knows. My chat knows.
Yeah, like Nick Cotto Avocado is fucking like.
Okay,
I would say that it's probably a more female-dominated industry, but okay.
First of all, I do agree that people like Aiden Ross and Fresh and Fit are also hypocrites when discussing this topic. They pretend to be against it and then surround themselves with sex workers. However, framing all critics as misogynistic is a gross way to represent detractors. I also have an issue with men promoting adult content. I mean, one of the creators I called out in that previous episode was Jack Doherty, who promotes his own OF, and the OF of other girls to his audience of 13-year-old boys. And yes, girls, there are a lot of young boys watching explicit content on Twitch. Denims and others like her have to downplay this, as it could hurt their bottom line.
Use of Twitch by minors. The Twitch services are not available to persons under the age of 13. If you are between the ages of 13 and the age of a legal majority.
Like I said, bro, if I had a kid and they were jerking off to this shit, I would be like, I would just turn a blind eye, because, you know, I mean, my kids are going to be horny as hell. You know, there's nothing more dangerous than a sexually frustrated young man. Okay, I'm not even kidding. All right. So I would let my young boy jerk off to it. I would just pretend I don't know about it, because it's fucking something else, you know. But I'd block all the explicit porn sites, obviously.
In your jurisdiction of residence, you may only use the Twitch services under the supervision of a parent or legal guardian who agrees to be bound by these terms of service.
Yeah, pretty sure it's easy to get past these loose restrictions, Denims.
Yeah, it's easy to get past the Pornhub restrictions, so you just have to say you're an adult. There's no like meaningful background check on it. So
just admit there are young teen boys getting porn addictions from you guys, but she won't.
Maybe I think it's hyperbolic. There might be some, but I would say it's probably not the majority.
He thinks all criticism is just sexism or whorophobia. People aren't arguing for purity culture. We just want you guys to act of common decency. In the same stream, she tries to downplay the Twitch thought epidemic by saying these e-girls are only showing a bit of shoulder and weren't being promoted.
Guess what? They literally say if you're a kid, you need parent supervision. Yeah, well, do you actually expect kids to ask for parent supervision? Okay, should we just nuke the internet of anything R-rated? Since kids are just gonna lie anyways? It's so stupid. It's just so dumb. Oh my God. No, everybody knows that.
She has a little bit of a point there.
That kids will get on the internet and lie about being 18 on Twitch, but when they go to Pornhub, they don't lie about their age.
Well, they obviously do.
And then
maybe she's being facetious.
The other argument that's always used is, yeah, but the thing is, kids go on there and they don't expect to see boobs. Seeing some shoulders isn't going to give your kid permanent trauma, you goddamn prudish motherfuckers.
Well, she's right about that. Like, it's not going to give you trauma.
All right. I promise you, your kids are not going to get traumatized seeing a bit of shoulder.
Nope, not true.
That is what part? The traumatized part?
This shit was plastered on the homepage for a while, and some of these girls, like Strawberry Tabby, were straight up showing their assholes to the camera.
Yeah, that's not going to traumatize a kid either, at least not on the internet, like, generally speaking. Unless they had something crazy going on in their asshole. But
I can't even show you this or else my video will get nuked to the shadow realm.
But yeah, that whatever you're talking about, people showing their like legitimate assholes, is not something that is generally happening on Twitch. So that whatever brief stint happened, yeah.
Obviously, minors are going to find porn, but it shouldn't be outwardly advertised to them on a 13+ website. That is what people are criticizing, though Denims is using a strawman fallacy to distract people.
I went to Twitch to see if this was real, and surely enough it was, and it wasn't just...
Yeah, it's all over my For You page, dude. But I would never want to look at that stuff, you know what I mean? It's like, golly, I'm a good Christian guy.
One streamer, it was many, it was multiple, it was the
Why does your For You page look like that? What are you looking at? You fucking degenerate?
entire home page. And then when you went to click on one of the streams, it just took you there. No verification needed, no login required, nothing. And the whole internet pretty much agreed this was insane. Not everyone.
Back to that podcast episode. During the beginning, they discussed the mental health of young people like themselves.
There's an increase in sexual assault in young people.
Really? I haven't heard that. That's...
Yeah.
I haven't heard this at all.
Is that true? There's an increase in sexual assault? I would say two things. One, I would say, is this true? According to the 2020 report, sexual assault and rape between 2019 and 2020 increased, but both the victim and perpetrator were under 18. Article also noted there was rape reports 26. I wonder why that would be. I wonder if it's an increase in reports because people feel more comfortable to increase the reports. I wonder why. Wonder what that is. I feel like it would be more of an increase in reporting.
24% increase, and that was before Roe v. Wade. So these numbers are coming in before that happened. Young women are more depressed. So
that probably has to do a lot more with social media, which is probably another reason that there is an increase of sexual assault because it makes it easier for like actual predators online to be able to like take advantage of kids. So
clearly the system is not working for anyone.
Well, again, a lot of it is social media. Like, social media is very toxic for people. Like, you really shouldn't have your kid be on social media until like 18 years old, which is what I think I'm going to do with my kids. Very toxic. Bullying goes up extraordinarily when people use social media. Depression goes up. It's distracting. It's addictive. It's not something that's particularly good. You're constantly comparing yourself to other people online, especially women who have, you know, self-esteem issues more than men, generally speaking. There's a higher expectation of beauty in women or attractiveness in women than men. These are a lot of the reasons why. It's a lot of social media. It will rot your brain through and through.
And I think that even we're feeling it, and we're very lucky where we can be pretty removed from the system and society if we choose to be. And if even we're feeling it, you know, people that have to function in society every day. So it's nice for us to vent to each other and talk about these things because, I mean, if we don't, we're going to explode, to be honest.
What could be the cause of those issues? I know. Here are the effects of having a porn addiction. Unrealistic sexual beliefs and
it's probably more to do with just phones in general than porn addiction, but
values, an overfocus or obsession with sex, sexually aggressive behaviors, an earlier interest in having sex, promiscuity, sexually permissive behaviors, questions about their own body, behavioral problems, depressive feelings, bonding issues with others, questions about their own sexual performance. But no, this culture couldn't be the problem, despite promoting a toxic system.
Yeah, I think that it's a small part of the problem. I think more than anything else, social media, again, is much more of the problem than Twitch thoughts, you know?
That tells young women that they should sell themselves as a product for mentally disturbed men to buy. A system that tells women...
Hey, I'm not mentally disturbed. Just kidding.
That it's empowering to show their naked bodies to the world, yet only causes these women to be even more insecure about them.
Yeah, I would say that it's not empowering to show your tits off. Well, actually it is, guys. Keep doing it. No, it's not particularly empowering, you know?
System that tells these women that they can be successful, despite the average OnlyFans model only making around $150 a month. A system that gets
that's still a dinner. That's a nice dinner out, you know what I mean?
Thousands of women sexually exploited and even trafficked by shitty promoters. This is not a system we should be promoting.
I would argue, just to be clear, that OnlyFans probably has less trafficking associated with it than other means of like sex work, because you have more control over your own content creation, just generally speaking, compared to other sex work.
Yet many of the Poggers community will gladly do it, thinking it's empowering to young women. I mean, they have Fansly as one of their biggest sponsors, despite these guys being rich enough to not need them. They've sponsored Creator Clash, the Streamer Awards, and even this game show called Juiced. It was created by Ludwig and hosted by XQC, with various adult content creators appearing as contestants. They did this only to show the asses of ST Peach and Amaranth in the thumbnail. Oh, speaking of Amaranth...
Well, they didn't show their whole, so whatever.
She made an AI version of herself that she flat out lied about. In an interview of Tube Filter, she was asked if the service would contribute negatively to the loneliness epidemic. She said, "A lot of people are saying this type of thing is the cause of the loneliness epidemic. I disagree. This doesn't cause loneliness. It's probably closer to being therapeutic. It's what people reach for to refrain from feeling alone."
I mean, she might be right. What's the lie?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure having your fans interact with an AI girlfriend isn't going to help them with their mental problems.
I mean, that's a whole conversation to have about loneliness. There is a larger acceptability of people kind of shutting themselves in, absolutely, and not interacting with real people. And you could argue that some kind of online AI girlfriend would be a way to adjust to that. I mean, I would say go outside and talk to people more than anything else. We definitely don't have a good relationship with social media platforms, and that is causing a loneliness epidemic in general. And that's what we have to really get down pat.
It's only going to make them worse. As I said in that content creators episode, this is like stopping someone's weed addiction by giving them crack. She just wants to make money off her legion of simps, who she has a grip over due to farming parasocial relationships.
I guess. How does she farm parasocial relationships exactly? That's what I'm curious about.
Parasocial relationships are one-sided relationships, where one person extends emotional energy, interest, and time, and the other party, the persona, is completely unaware of the other's existence.
Sure. I mean, here's my thing. One-sided relationship where one person exceeds. Here's my thing. I think that the conversation, just to be clear, about parasocial relationships, like any mental health diagnosis, there are symptoms, and those symptoms aren't a problem until they reach a certain point, right? So let's see if I can give you an example. Like, let's say you're somebody who's just kind of socially awkward. Doesn't mean that you're fucking autistic. It does on TikTok because everybody wants to be autistic and have to be a fucking part of the special victims unit, right? But just being a little antisocial doesn't mean that you have autism. In the same way where just because you feel a little bit of a personal connection with somebody on the TV or a content creator doesn't necessarily mean you're toxically parasocial. Like if you watch Papa Gut content and you're like, I kind of like this guy, like I think he's kind of smart, and you like me, like I obviously probably don't know who you are. I do though. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know who you are. But as long as you're aware of that and you have a solid boundary with that, I don't think it's necessarily a problem. The issue with parasocial relationships really comes when you think the other person likes you at all or as much as you like them, even though they don't know you. And that's where the issue with parasocial relationships really comes into effect and really actually becomes an issue, right? So I just wanted to kind of make that clear. I don't think that you liking a content creator necessarily is bad by itself, but it's when it gets to a point of toxicity.
This perfectly sums up the type of viewers these streamers have.
Am I shaming TikTok? Am I shaming TikTokers who have disorders? No, these people don't have disorders. Most people on TikTok pretending to have autism are pretending because they want to be interesting and unique, and they don't actually have. They aren't. That's what I'm saying.
Behaviors usually encourage it. YouTubers like myself rely on ad revenue or YouTube Premium to make money, but Twitch streamers like Hassan, Ludwig, and Pokimane make money off direct donations or Twitch subs from fans. Now, I don't have a problem with...
Doesn't Moist Critical do that too? Wait, what?
That just encourage it, or the other's existence. This perfectly sums up the type of viewers these streamers have, as their behaviors usually encourage it. YouTubers like myself rely on ad revenue or YouTube Premium to
Well, you're showing Moist Critical as an example, I'm assuming, of you. I mean, he also streams, no?
make money, but Twitch streamers like Hassan, Ludwig, and Pokimane make money off direct donations or Twitch subs from fans.
Sure, they also have video things as well that they make money off of, like ad revenue. They make pretty considerable ad revenue. But okay.
Now, I don't have a problem with that itself, but these guys have tendencies to manipulate their audiences. They interact with them
How is that? You have to show us. Like, what is it? What do you mean manipulation?
a lot, basically acting as a friendship simulator. And when these streamers react to something, they make it out to be this massive watch party. If they didn't encourage viewers to have parasocial relationships with them, they won't be getting any money.
This isn't like a manipulation or encouraging a parasocial behavior. Just because they watch videos together. And again, you could talk about the negative morality of watching these videos, and that's perfectly fine. When it comes to React content, that's totally fine. But to say that that's some kind of manipulation tactic, you have to. I think that people need to be better about not assigning. I want to go. I mean, this might be a little disproportionate, but assigning predatory intention to people. Just because a person is bad does not mean that they are doing something intentionally horrible. Just because they might be developing a bond with their audience, I guess, doesn't mean that they're doing something malicious to do it. Them doing a watch party isn't part of this deep scheme to manipulate their audience. You know what I mean? I don't particularly care for Pokimane or Hassan, or I'm not a huge Ludwig fan. I don't necessarily hate the guy, but But to sit here and be like they're predatory, they're doing this, that's what's coming. That's the energy, at least, that's coming off here. I think it's a little too far, and I think we could dislike these people without them having to be like a legitimate fucking, you know, a third plane hitting the tower. You know what I mean?
Ludwig in particular doesn't seem to realize this, as he released a video in late 2020 called "I Am Not Your Friend."
I don't know if you know this, but listen loud and clear. None of your content creators, your favorite ones, including me, are your friends.
I'm your friend.
Now, again, it's not just to make you feel bad or whatever. It's just the truth. Look, I have 1 million subscribers, but I don't know 1 million people in the world. I don't know how many people you can know. I don't even think I know all my Facebook friends. All right, I don't even know all the people I follow on Twitter. How many people are you actually friends with? For me, it's like...
I mean, wouldn't this be a good boundary that he's setting by actively speaking against developing a parasocial relationship or bond?
20? 25?
This video is pretty noble at the surface level, but actions speak louder than words. I mean, he's basically joked about this video's effectiveness.
I'm flipping the script. All right, Arrested 2022. I love you guys. I love you. We did this. You guys, hey, little buddies.
Okay.
I'm your friends, guys. Come on, little buddies. Let's just have a good time this year. Let's just me and you guys just hang out. Come on, little buddies. We'll have a great year.
During the iDubbbz discourse
I'm not understanding what your criticism of Ludwig is here. I don't really get it.
last year, the streamer Stan said this essay regarding responsibility over one's audience.
If you want to, you know, look out for people who are red flags, it's definitely people who had my mentality that say, I'm not responsible for what my audience does.
I completely agree. And there are so many fucking content creators out there that just leave that at the door. They like...
Yeah, like I said, you have like a level, I think you have like a small level of responsibility to not, you know, incite your audience and be good to speak out against it. Like I keep saying though, I think iDubbbz definitely overcorrected when it comes down to it. I think he for sure overcorrected. If you're using this argument, I'm going to assume that you agree with iDubbbz, but iDubbbz like definitely overcorrected. He could have been like, hey, sorry, I was a little too edgy. I wish I wasn't so edgy, and just moved on. But he obviously has some kind of like deep level of guilt, in my opinion, unnecessary guilt and unproductive guilt and shame with his previous content.
Turn on, they go in their computer and they do their content and do this, and the second they're offline, they just like let the snowball go down the hill. You are absolutely responsible for your audience and what they're saying and doing. And
like I said, to a degree.
What's happening in different Discords and stuff. You have to. No one else can be.
The fuck am I going to go into other Discords?
You are the mother that birthed that audience, right? They are a reflection of you.
I didn't really birth the audience, right? But okay.
It makes me sick to think of like what you guys might say and do in other channels. That's why I'm like very strict here.
What? William Maxwell responded with the following tweet. You were not responsible for your audience unless you directly told them to do something. They are their own people. If you have 100,000 viewers, statistically speaking, one of them is going to be unhinged.
Yeah, like here's the thing. If you have a community that will regularly engage in like bad behavior, maybe they're a community that's well known for being poopy diarrhea, I think that you should try to be aware of like what it is and how you're communicating your content, and maybe shift that a little bit to be a little bit better. At the very least, maybe maybe at the beginning of a video, be like, "Hey guys, don't be bad." I know it sounds so stupid and corny, but at the very least, you'd be like, "Hey guys, I don't want my content to be used as some kind of a justifier to harass or bother people." Something like that. I don't think is. I think that a content creator should do that. Whether you have to do that or not, I'm not really interested in that conversation. I'm more interested in like what you should do. I think it's a good thing to do to try to make sure your audience doesn't get out of control. You know, your audience shouldn't try to take like an active role in diminishing or hurting other people. Generally speaking, they should have. It's fine for them to have a role in watching. Like being a casual observer of the things going on around you is not a bad thing.
Ludwig then got involved in this discussion by saying, the argument that statistically, 1 in 100,000 people will be unhinged, so you bear no responsibility over the other 99,999 is incredibly weak. No, Ludwig, you are not responsible for them, unless you directly tell them to do something. Your fans should be smart enough to know right from wrong.
But the problem with this guy's video here is he's kind of lost himself. If you're saying that you're not responsible for your audience, then that means that they're not responsible for the parasocial bond you generate. So this guy can't, on the one hand, say like, oh, these people are bad because they're developing a parasocial bond, but then the other hand, be like, oh, well, you're not responsible for your audience or what their actions are. I feel like kind of missing something there. Like I said, I don't think that they're generating some kind of a parasocial audience in some kind of a toxic way. They're not like really encouraging, like, oh my God, guys, I love you so much. We are best friends, you know? And then it's like, where do you draw the line with that too? Like if you name your community the Poopers or something, like whatever, I don't really care about that. It's just, I don't know. I feel like I'm getting your point is getting a little lost here.
I mean, even your own core fan base of 13-year-olds should know that. It's very clear he's saying this to virtue signal some form of morality over his audience.
Or maybe he believes it. Here's my thing. You can just believe that people are like a cucks or big betas. You know what I mean? Just think he's a pussy. Be like, oh, I think that's a pussy take. It doesn't mean that Ludwig has to be lying. Maybe he believes that, and you guys just differ in opinion.
Which goes against him saying he doesn't want a parasocial relationship with them. This is the same guy who claims to care about men's mental health.
Thanks so much for the $5 from Jeremiah Wright. Finally got my dream job working for the National Park Service and celebrating with a donation. Been watching ever since the Trisha arc. The growth's insane. Thank you so much, Jeremiah. Right. Also, congratulations, man. That's fantastic that you get to do your dream job. There's nothing like it, brother.
Yes, which goes against him saying he doesn't want a parasocial relationship with them. This is the same guy who claims to care about men's mental health, while at the same time, proudly pushing porn websites that negatively affect men's mental health.
But if you're saying that the fans have an all pure agency over themselves to the point where like your words don't matter and you don't have responsibility for them, then how can you say that how can you say that the parasocial bond or even exists or is bad? I'm not really your point's kind of getting lost. Like, you can't say that you have no responsibility for your audience and then talk about how it's your responsibility to not manipulate your audience. Like, I'm a little bit confused. Like, I don't know. It's like maybe it's me. Maybe I'm a fucking idiot or something. But
just quit pretending to have the moral high ground. Just admit to your faults and stop preaching your loose sense of morality. Ludwig is basically Hassan's lapdog. He made an
that might be true.
Incredibly tame joke about Hassan in a video and took the whole thing down due to.
Or Ludwig is like a pushover because he wants to be nice to other creators. I don't know if he's his lapdog though.
Being pressured.
As a streamer myself for almost 6 years now.
Whoa.
On how hard it really is.
We're at like 3 years, guys. When's my million? I don't want millions of views. Actually, I don't want that attention. I just want to get like 2 or 3 times more views than I'm getting now, which means 2 or 3 times more money, which means I'll be living very comfortably. That'd be fantastic. Pogger.
Yes. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I would look. I just.
Oh god, it's just like, what's funny is you haven't even addressed this again since then. I know. It's just an opportunity for every single person to be like, look guys, I'm a content creator. I'm really privileged. Like, yeah, dog, we all are. We all talk about it all the fucking time.
He then remade the video, basically sucking on Hassan's Turkish cock.
People don't really give a shit about the context. People don't really give a shit about the conversation. They just care about getting Twitter.
Thank you for the $2 from Unreal. I'm unemployed and also wish to donate. Okay, thank you so much. Well, you guys don't have to donate, just to be clear, okay? But thank you, I really appreciate it.
Which is all this really is. Which is why people like fucking Keemstar are tweeting out shit like this, just, you know, just for a dunk sesh. Because nobody gives a fucking shit. Nobody gives a rat's ass about the facts or about any people involved. They just care about a little Twitter, like a little impression. Right? That's why they tweet. What is this? Look at this shit they tweet, bro. Why do they all look like Twitch streamers?
I'm very confused. I don't know what's happening right now.
They don't.
That's why I just stay out of everybody's shit. You know, I like to talk about stuff and sit on the sidelines because these guys are fucking. Everybody's so weird. Everybody's got like a bone to pick with another person or another group or community. It's just so bizarre.
What are we doing here?
He's what people think most.
I guess I do sometimes, but I don't know.
Critical is a fence-sitting non.
Like, I feel like once you get fucking, I don't know. Just why do you even want friends online? Then you got to start involving yourself in other people's business and shit. You know, and then you said something. Now you feel pressured to change your perspective because you're a big friend with this. You know.
With no backbone.
Nick, you ain't funny. That's not
based alert?
true. Maybe you're just boring as fuck.
Pokimane is even worse.
That might be true.
When it comes to parasocial relationships, as she usually.
Well, you really didn't show us how Ludwig was parasocial, just to be clear. But okay.
Victimizes herself when she faces any form of backlash. She also uses this annoying PR voice to seem like a reasonable person, which is a hide how truly spiteful she is. I mean, this bitch attacked someone's sponsors for simply criticizing her, took someone's video down via false copyright notice, got Gideon banned for raiding her chat.
Well, I don't think that she got them banned. I think they got themselves banned. Just to be clear, you know, like, I'm not sitting here. I don't think that Gideon should have got banned as heavily as he did, but I mean, he did effectively hate raid her thing. You know, just to be clear, you know, yeah, just saying. I'm not saying that he shouldn't have. He definitely, if they're gonna unban Sneeko, they should have never. I don't think they should have really ever banned Gideon, but you know, maybe a temporary kind of a thing, just to be like, hey, you can't really engage in this behavior. Would have been fine, but yeah.
I think it should be illegal to troll someone on the internet. It's very clear how soft of a person she is, despite how aggressive she can be towards others. She's literally just that mean girl from high school who hasn't grown up yet, thinking that acting nice will offset the fact that she's a fake. I mean,
what is wrong with you? Why do you have so much hate for these people? It's very bizarre behavior. This guy is so weird. I don't like Pokimane either. I find her to be annoying. Oh, Jesus Christ, man. Like, what the fuck? What is wrong with you, man? Okay, whatever. Just wild stuff.
Some of her own friends in the Poggers community have called her out for this. When XQC was switching over to Kick, she became incredibly hostile online while trying to demean him. She's upset that he's moving over to a rival platform, as Twitch now doesn't allow gambling. She thinks other streamers will also make this switch, which she doesn't like, since she's basically a paid shill for Twitch. This makes her come off as a hypocrite, especially when she argues against gambling.
XQC
Why does it make her come off as a hypocrite? I'm not...
is getting money from gambling losses and you're getting money from capitalist Amazon. Which one is worse? Honestly,
Kind of a base take.
at least in capitalism, people give money and get a product, whether it's overcharged, whether it's whatever. Gambling is like, it's a mental addiction where you get
Well, shopping can be a mental addiction.
nothing out of it.
Well, listen, here's my thing about gambling. You can only lose 100% of what you have, but you can gain infinitely. Am I right, guys? Yeah, I would say Amazon is not as bad as gambling, generally speaking. Sure. It doesn't sound like hypocritical, really. It just sounds like she does not like gambling specifically and finds it particularly harmful.
What she's describing can also be said for parasocial relationships. I mean, on Twitter alone, she's always posting photos of herself to encourage her legion of simps to compliment her.
I just, it's so weird. What you're saying is weird to me. Like, are people not allowed to post online? I don't think that the act of posting pictures on the internet is unreasonable. You know what I mean? Like we haven't seemed to have discovered what is and isn't considered reasonable behavior. Like, she posts pictures of herself on the internet because she thinks she looks nice, and all of a sudden that's a manipulation tactic to generate a simp army. It's like, I don't know, man. I think that you're putting a little too much energy into some of this stuff. It becomes like fucking weird.
If anybody simply calls her out for this, she blocks them. She also has a tendency...
Well, it's probably good. Fuck, I just died. That's probably good that she just blocks them. Why would she engage with somebody that has like a weird... That's just a weird perspective.
to talk down to her audience like they're a bunch of kindergartners. This is usually over the pettiest shit too.
What is this? Valorant is not good content if you don't. You have shock darts. You have this. Why don't you 5-stack with Immortal Smurfs? Why do you start? Babe, if you want to interview me, go get a go get a journalist degree and then hit up my business emails. It's weird behavior.
I mean, she's not wrong. I don't really particularly care for Pokemon, but like, this is a person that's coming into her chat and complaining that they don't like the content she's producing, so leave. Like, if somebody came in here and was like, oh, I don't like this video, okay, bye, leave. I don't care about you. Like, if you don't like the video, just turn it off and come back when there's something more interesting, or don't come back. That's perfectly fine. But to continuously tell me that, like, I'm just gonna, okay, you're just being annoying. You know, I'm not gonna go to your school play and go, wow, you really fucking sucked. You know? And if you want to do that, be my guest, but you're gonna get treated like this, and it's totally justifiable, you know?
It's just really weird behavior, and you need to stop. And
She's not wrong.
know it might be
It's so funny when you have videos like this that are like, make the people that I don't like seem more likable. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, I don't give a shit.
easier to pinpoint or point out every little thing about
I just don't like Pokemon because she hasn't shown me her armpits yet. You know what I mean?
my life that you disagree with, instead of taking a look at
Okay, I gotta stop.
your own and figuring out what the you want to do, or what you feel so inadequate that you can't even look at your own life, and instead you're so focused on mine. This is very unhealthy for you. It's a waste of your time. You're not bettering yourself in any way.
She's not wrong about anything she's saying, and she's being condescending, and I don't care because, again, I find it annoying when people come in and tell me that, you know. So I don't even engage with them. I'll usually just well, a lot of times I'll just, if somebody's like, wow, I don't like this, I'll ban them. You know, usually if I very rarely will see a regular in here say it, but if they do, like, I've considered it before. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. Like, it's annoying when people do that. Just don't watch the video.
I like how she's only saying this about the one rowdy guy in chat, but has a completely different take when it comes to her loyal fans.
What the fuck does that even mean?
I came here to check the Simpson chat. Simp, you're a simp. I was going through a simp hunting phase. It was just a phase.
What?
I want you to know that's really weird and low-key. Because why do you
I'm not understanding. What, she's treating them the same way, no?
even care if someone were hypothetically simping? Huh? You're sad they love someone that ain't you, and that it's a woman? Literally, what does that have to do with you? You know, if your parents are together, your dad probably simps for your mom.
A little bit base. I simp for my wife pretty heavily, yeah.
And so what? That's a normal part of loving other human beings.
Listen, generally speaking, simping is when, generally, at least my interpretation of simping is when you, like, love somebody else more than, and they get significantly more in return than you do. You know, usually when there's no reciprocation at all, actually. So simping isn't necessarily a good thing. It can be kind of unhealthy, but sure, whatever. I don't care.
Maybe you don't know anything about that. In which case, sorry. Hope you learn someday.
Okay.
But still, don't ruin it for others or be... Oh, fuck. I really do feel like sometimes I could talk about this shit forever. Isn't it weird that young boys are being told simping is so terrible?
No, I just think that we haven't necessarily defined what it means to simp. You should treat people well, and you should love people. You should be empathetic and caring towards people, but you shouldn't do it without getting like a respectful reciprocation that's like appropriate for the situation. And it really depends. Like, I love my wife and I treat her very well. Yesterday we went on like a nice shopping spree. I think I said at the beginning of the stream. We went out. She had off, so I took her to hang out with my mother because I see my mother once a week. I like to try to see my mother once a week. I took her to an outlet. I got her new Crocs. I went to Old Navy with her in the outlet. I got her a couple of new outfits. Then we went to the mall. I bought her a new Pandora charms, and we walked around. It was really nice, right? You shouldn't do that for people unless they, give you a return. So the return is obviously my wife loves me, and she'll spoil me in other ways that I appreciate. I don't like gifts. I don't like getting gifts bought for me. I like when my wife makes me dinner. I like it when my wife cleans for me. Other things as well. Right? So that's not really simping because I'm getting a reciprocation in our relationship. Giving people endless attention and giving them your resources, and whether they're hard earned or not, with no like real true reciprocation is not a healthy thing for you to be engaging in, right? It's obviously not a healthy behavior for you to be engaging in. It's fine to give somebody like $5 on a stream or whatever if you have the money. Don't be giving me money if you don't have it. But like simping goes far beyond that, especially when you have an expectation of getting something in return. A lot of people will give, like if you're donating money to a streamer in the hopes that they'll recognize you and say they love you, it's a very unhealthy relationship. You shouldn't be doing that. If you're giving somebody like a couple of bucks because like you like their stream and it's nice when they read your message out loud, that's a totally different. It's like it's just a relationship you have with your. I guess your expression of kindness. Thank you so much for another $2, Seth. Don't like this video, but gooning to the guy in the corner. Okay, thank you. So you can still have an unhealthy simp with like your wife. Like I usually say it as a joke. I treat her very well, but you can there are guys out there who will like spoil their wives and their wives will like fucking beat them with rolling pins. You know what I mean? Like there's you can still have an unhealthy relationship with that behavior.
If you are doting on a woman that is so terrible. But like it's not.
Here, she's blatantly defending those who simp or lust after her, hiding her vitriol for this guy, calling her out by acting goofy.
Well, she's not hiding her vitriol at all. She's pretty expressive about it. She obviously does not like the person we're talking about.
Secretly, she probably loathes this guy for exposing this idea.
She very clearly loathes this guy. What are you talking about secretly? What the fuck?
But her fans won't ever call her out for this. I mean, she shits on her audience pretty regularly, especially...
Well, this guy's calling them... this guy's insulting her audience, so she's insulting him. I'm not understanding your perception here.
During the cookie drama. Now, I could give less of a shit about her selling over...
The cookie drama was stupid. It wasn't a big deal at all. She had overpriced cookies, and people were complaining too much about it. I don't care.
Overpriced cookies. My problem was her response to the backlash.
Like, oh my god, $28 for cookies? It's 4 bags. That's $7 a bag. I know math is hard when you're an idiot, but if you're a broke boy, just say so.
Most people...
Yeah, it's just like a stupid little joke. Who cares?
Were against her for this, yet those in the Poggers community like Hassan had to defend her.
Yeah, I don't like these people. I did too. It didn't matter. It wasn't that big of a deal. But who gives a shit? It's just expensive cookies. Who fucking cares?
Because she was in the right, but because they're friends. Though if he was a true friend, he'd be encouraging her to do better. Not make things worse.
You
They have this sort of herd mentality, always weeding out those most critical who have a different opinion than them. And this has led to a massive ego boost. This has resulted in the Poggers community wanting to be like Hollywood, so they created their own award shows.
Well, I mean, I guess people engage with it. I mean, Hollywood just made itself one day and people liked it, so whatever, who cares? Thank you for the $2, £2 from Name Namington. Incredible. Recognize me and say you love me. I love you so much, Name Namington. Incredible.
Internet creators have been doing award shows for over a decade now.
I mean, everybody does fucking award shows. I'm an Eagle Scout. You know, generally speaking, institutions will create themselves, and then they will create like, some kind of they'll create some kind of a thing that honors people that engage in their institutions to what they would consider the highest degree. So, like, whatever. Okay.
With the most notable one being Streamy Awards, which began back in 2009. At first it celebrated web shows, but soon expanded to celebrating content creators.
I think I shouldn't have got that because I have so much AoE pickup.
No, the ones who actually make content. These untalented Twitch streamers wanted a piece of that pie, so one of them created their own award show. That would be QT Cinderella, Ludwig's girlfriend, who began the Streamer Awards in early 2022. God, what a lazy name. It's basically
What? What do you mean lazy name? I'm so confused.
basically like those shitty knockoff films you'd find in the bargain bin at Walmart. Basically, this is a show for streamers, specifically those in the Poggers community and those adjacent to them. Nothing interesting happened to the first one, besides 2 clones of Moist Critical accepting an award.
Let's fucking go! I hope he I hope they prepared a speech.
I feel like I just
It looks like Moist Critical is part of this community, and you seem to be trying to like remove him from that.
pulled a PSA 10 first edition Charizard baseless shadowless. Mobile Delphine was playing with my nipples, and Nico Kato Avocado was licking my asshole. I just want to say thank you guys so much for this. I want to thank the Moist Critical team, Charlie, and Charlie. And I just want to say this is the best thing that's happened.
I feel like this is a fake laugh. Okay.
Since Netflix got rid of cuties, it's the best thing that's happened to my life since I first got my first Moby Huge and sat on it for 24 hours straight. I just want you guys to know that this means the world to me. And
Is this his real laugh or is it fake? I'm starting to think it's his real laugh. And it's just, he's actually laughing so hard. It's like the weirdest laugh.
I feel like Thanos snapped away half my sadness, and the remaining half is just going to stay with me and make me a happier, more complete person, and I will grow. So with that all said, I just want to say, woo, yeah, baby!
Did this creator like that a lot? Because that was fucking bizarre. Yeah, shut off the sprinkler, baby love. I left the sprinkler on. Watering the garden. Thanks, baby. Sorry.
Sorry, I just had to show that clip. It's the only good thing that ever happens at these boring-ass shows.
Okay. I mean, listen, there's nothing wrong with it if you like that. I'm just... Okay.
They're pretty much just circle jerks, where this friend group gives each other awards for self-validation. QTC is also a really uninteresting host. During the second annual Streamer Awards, she tried making some edgier jokes, which got a mixed reaction from the audience. They're here to get praised, not made fun of.
You don't like edgy jokes? What? You're a weirdo.
It's the second annual Streamer Awards, and this year's show, we've made some changes.
Nice.
We dropped some categories like Best GTA Streamer, and added new ones like Best at Convincing Their Audience They Still Deserve a Platform.
Ooh, who's that?
I guarantee a lot of them are soft and can't stand self-deprecation, and I can say the same for QTC, who can definitely dish it out, but can't take an edgy joke herself. Remember when Aatrox accidentally showed a browser tab of a deepfake website?
Okay, well this isn't a joke, but okay.
The one with deepfaked porn of QTC and Pokimane? Well, Ethan Klein accidentally got the case of the giggles while watching her response.
Okay.
If you were able...
Listen, I feel kind of bad for her, but at the end of the day, you got deepfaked and she was crying on stream. It seems a little inappropriate. You're crying like you were like fucking sexually assaulted. It was insane. Like, chill the fuck out. You can be upset. It just seems weird to turn on your stream just so that you can cry in front of your audience. It seems like a boundary you should probably set. That's a little healthier of a boundary to set. But yeah, okay.
Look at women who are not selling themselves or benefiting off of being seen sexually.
Okay. I'll be honest with you, man. This is one of those. These are those moments that are like, you know, I kind of like Ethan. You know.
You're a monster, dude.
It's
sure, it's fucked up, but it's funny. Basically,
I mean, this. Okay. I feel like there might. Okay, we know, whatever. I think it's funny too.
QTC and the rest of the Poggers community begged him to apologize, but I guess QTC only thinks it's okay to make fun of other people's misfortune, but not her own.
Twitch banned gambling this year, which was great because it shows that they're willing to take a stance and they're concerned for their viewers and their content creators, just not concerned enough to check how deep the foam pit is.
What does that mean? Oh yeah, because the girl like destroyed her knee. Yeah.
I mean, you're not wrong.
So this here is Asmongold, someone I've barely talked about in this video.
Yeah, that is Asmongold, yeah, for sure.
He's just another generic streamer who looks like a mentally handicapped Moist Critical.
Like, kind of, actually. It's a little funny.
So here we go. I'm about to make myself retarded.
Hey. Don't use those bad words.
Clout Goblin. That sounds harsh, but this guy literally lives in his own filth.
A Clout Goblin. Well, he definitely has goblin-esque tendencies, but I feel like when you say Clout Goblin, you're trying to make it seem like he'll do anything for clout, and I don't think that's necessarily true. I think that he's just kind of gross and lazy when it comes to his living conditions.
He's a multi-millionaire, but he can't even clean his own room. He's
I mean, I wouldn't either. I'd pay someone else to do it.
Basically Conway the Contaminationist from Courage the Cowardly Dog. At this event, he won the award for Best MMORPG Streamer, and had this to say.
So thank you guys.
I mean, probably is outside of the reaction stuff. He still does well MMO. Like, I don't know another large MMO streamer. Like, he still pulls good numbers too when he's like doing MMO shit.
For voting for me, I want to say that I've always said that the best apology, the best.
And who better to be an MMO award recipient than fucking a degenerate, dirty fucking degenerate like Asperger's.
Best way to say thank you.
Her spine got destroyed? Damn, that's brutal.
Is to just make more content, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. So you can look forward to a bright 2023 of me watching YouTube videos, reading Reddit posts, and then also reading YouTube comments after I watch the YouTube video. I'm really excited to be able to do that.
That's like a little jab at himself for making low effort content. I think that's funny.
It's going to be super fun, and who knows, maybe I actually might do it on the channel that I won this award for.
Now usually I'd applaud him for making a self-deprecating joke, but I'm not sure if he's fully self-aware. Joking
What do you mean he made the self-deprecating joke? What are you talking
about how lazy your content is doesn't make it better.
Well, no, it doesn't make it better, but it makes like it's good to acknowledge it. You know, I do too. Like, it is what it is.
In fact, it makes it worse. And there are quite a few similar jokes made during this show.
It would only make it worse if he thought it was wrong to do. I mean, again, the YouTube community seems to be generally okay with this type of content, at least when it's like conversational reactions. And you know, he seems to do provide conversational reactions about the games that he engage. Like, he is like, when he talks about video games, he's very into video games. He has a lot to say, it seems like. So
Every year we see innovation from Just Chatting streamers as they push boundaries and ask the question, how can we do even less? Presenting the award for Best Just Chatting streamer, brought to us by Twitch, is Agent Zero.
These people know how lazy their shit is, but they want to prove it. Think about it. These are a bunch of untalented, rich streamers who don't add anything positive to the content creation sphere at all.
Why do you... That's... This guy seems so upset. Here's the thing. I'm gonna just use me as the relation. Okay, it's easier. My content is very low effort. Let's be absolutely real. Okay, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I have no talent. Okay, I obviously have the ability to public speak. I think I'm decently intelligent. I think I'm decently relatable. I think I'm a kind of a... I mean, I think I'm an above average intelligence guy that just knows how to express myself pretty well in like a public speaking-esque type format. And I'm somewhat relatable to a more mature audience, right? That's pretty much what they are, but for whatever niche that they engage in, kind of. At least Asmongold. I don't think he's a stupid person. I don't think that like low effort content fundamentally is bad. Like a podcast, any podcast is pretty much low effort content, but we don't go like, oh, podcasts are bad. Right, the issue isn't the low effort; it's the potential source material and how much you might show of it, and that's the contesting issue. But this guy seems to just hate these people. I don't know. I feel like there's something. Some of them, at least, probably have something that people or that resonates with people in some capacity. I'm glazing myself. I don't think I'm glazing anything, bro. What do I say that's glazing myself? All right, I'm getting tongue locked by you. Fuck off. I'm special.
Pretty just the Oscars, though at least those guys actually have talent. These guys just sit on their asses all day and make their audiences believe they're friends to make money off their naivety.
I don't think that they do that.
And not every single person here is lazy. You do have certain creators who deserve recognition.
Based lazy person?
But the main talents are morally bankrupt people like Hassan or Amaranth. Honestly though, who are these other names? These are like nobody streamers.
Skara is a fucking League of Legends streamer. What? So these look like all League streamers. What are you talking about? Like, I'm pretty sure at least Boxbox and Skara are like legitimate competitive, like LCS level League of Legends streamers. I think that's impressive. No?
Do they just give out awards to like random streamers of 50 views just because they're friends with them?
Bro, these people are like, what the fuck? Okay, whatever. I don't think you understand. Like, these people are like legitimate competitive. I mean, like, you might not think games are athletic because they're not like physically athletic, but these are like competitive gamers that make money on gaming. And also to keep in mind that the league teams don't let you stream when you're practicing. So like maybe their streaming isn't as big. But these guys, at least two of them, I'm going to assume all five of them are league streamers. They're probably competitive league streamers. What the hell are you talking about? Okay, whatever.
Now, who won Streamer of the Year? Well, for the past 2 years,
probably one of the people that pulls a lot of viewers.
It's been Kai Cenat. Kai isn't part of the Poggers community. Instead, he's in what's known as the W community. This is made up of more risque streamers like Kai, Gideon, iShowSpeed,
yeah, black guys,
Aiden Ross, and Yo Rage. Many of the big names in the Poggers community are secretly jealous of their success, as they don't rely on a fake, goody two-shoes reputation and wholesome image to make money.
I guess. Okay.
Kai won these awards due to an audience vote, so QTC had to accept his win. He didn't
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, he was very popular.
show up, because this event is a waste of time for him. He doesn't like these guys because they act passive-aggressively to his online presence.
Is that confirmed, or he maybe was just busy and had other people go? It wasn't like Agent Zero there to pick up his shit?
Remember that podcast I mentioned earlier? Well, here's a stream from March 13th, 2023, where they discuss this topic.
The thing with Kai is like Kai is, from my understanding, he's in LA. So
These people have no. Are these people even close to as popular as like the cutie Cinderellas of the Poggers community? Who gives a fuck about Denims or Anicia or a person I don't know who the fuck that is? Like, I feel like these are not going to be the accurate representation of how like cutie. I don't even like cutie Cinderella, but I don't think that these are the accurate representations of Kai Cenat. But also Kai Cenat, didn't he like fucking rile up? he created a riot in New York. Like, he's not exactly the greatest person in the world.
So he just needs to show up. It wasn't even a matter of like flying to the event. And then also it's like, it feels rude to your community. Like your community voted for you to win this award and then you're not going to show up. If you're not even going to show up, like why even like push for that? Like why even push for your community to vote for you? Why even do any of this stuff, right? Like I feel like you should almost like bow out at that point and give it to people who are actually feel a certain way about their community, you know? It just feels really, I also feel like it really is like quite hurtful, and it's like I feel like there's almost some ego there that everyone else
I don't
is
think that their fans care. I guess this is kind of a point, but I don't think that their fans give a shit.
being like, I can't imagine planning an event and then the last award to celebrate the streamer of the year doesn't even show up.
Doesn't he not involve himself in the streaming community? I feel like he like has separated. He's like said that he doesn't like the Poggers community specifically. Like he's not the.
Okay.
Yeah. See, that's what I don't know.
I mean, it's probably a smart business tactic. They're all annoying as shit, so.
Like honestly, whenever
So if he has expressly said that, then like, okay, maybe he doesn't like them, but.
Kai was first like announced as like a what's the name, he was nominated or whatever, like I honestly,
More than anything else, the people that threw the event probably liked that he won, because then they get to attach their name to Kai Cenat, and it adds like a level of credibility, especially since some people still accepted their award. No, like I'm assuming Kai Cenat had like his friends do that. Like Agent, doesn't that guy's name Agent Zero or whatever? He's a popular content creator. No, like he accepted the thing for him.
after what happened with Kai at New Year's, like I just didn't even want to see him like on the ticket or like
What happened to Kai at New Year's?
there at all personally.
Ah yes, Kai is the egotistical one, not the other streamers who are
Was that the sexual assault thing that happened at like a New Year's party? Is that what they're talking about? Maybe I'm misinformed. Or I don't remember it.
giving each other awards. I don't like Kai at all, and I think he's a really irresponsible dude, but this was a good choice on his part. Just the notion that he won't show up pissed these snobs so much, and I love it. Creator Clash is an influencer boxing event started by Anissa Jamha and her husband to iDubbbz. It began in 2022 to great success, but Creator Clash 2 fell apart for many reasons. Something that isn't speculated upon much is that both events were clearly made to strengthen the reputation of the couple, not just towards their audiences, but for the Poggers community.
Maybe? I feel like they just did that because they wanted to do something different. I don't know.
Ian's been clear on multiple occasions that he does not like boxing. In fact, the only
I think he likes it now. He's gotten into it, no?
reason he got into it was in spite of both Jinx and Rice Gum, two people he criticized in his past.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't love boxing. I find it to be very challenging and very difficult to do. And so it's not, when I go into the gym every day, it's like not therapeutic, or it hasn't been very therapeutic for me, or fun. There's moments, where it's like, oh, I'm doing well today, awesome. But it's been very hard. So just like relief that it's over, stress from the event accumulating because we had, plenty of drama.
Creator Clash is promoting.
Okay, thank you for the $5 from what's that? It's Ya Bison? Okay. Hey, Pop, I love your videos, and they are relatable to me as a mechanic, and I won't stop talking shit. It's all out of love, brother. Thank you, I appreciate that. Thank you. I enjoy it when it's so interesting when like actual like blue collar workers watch my stuff. I feel like that's more indicative of the audience I like. And obviously older women love my content because I'm very attractive. But also they like my wife. Is really what it is. But yeah. Thank you.
Promoted as a charity event to differentiate itself from other influencer boxing events.
Okay.
As blatantly expressed in a rant video. He's basically used the notion of charity as a shield from reasonable criticism. The true purpose of this
maybe he wanted to do something popular in the YouTube-ish community that could raise money for charity, and Anissa likes boxing, it seems, so he's probably more like, well, she likes it, so I guess I'll do it. I mean, like, I think iDubbbz is like kind of a weak person, not gonna lie, but like the way that you're framing is so bizarre to me. Hey, baby love.
event was
You want to give me a kiss? All right, let's get back into it.
to get a bunch of big YouTubers he's friends with to fight each other.
Oh, I know that person. Hold on.
Charity is a shield from reasonable criticism.
Can be, but you have to show a specific instance of him trying to use charity as a shield. I know Jaileray. We used to be on TikTok together. I follow her on Instagram still, but I haven't talked to her in like 2 or 3 years. So, good for her.
The true purpose of this event was to get a bunch of big YouTubers he's friends with to fight each other and pretend to be boxers for a night. Though even if this...
That's where boxing's going, let's be real. With MMA out, you know, it's not easy to box, but boxing I feel like is slowly going down, because why not watch MMA instead of boxing? So
This is for their reputation. I could care less, since it made over $1 million for charity. I can't say the same for Creator Clash 2, which lost $250,000. Ian and Anissa spent way too much money for various expenses, much of which was to please the big streamers they invited. I mean, apparently they paid for...
Well, they didn't have a lot of big streamers, to be clear. Listen, here's the thing. I think your framing is uncharitable. They didn't really... I think a lot of it went to... They probably gave a little too much money to the people that fought for them, right? Like, I remember one of the complaints was that they were allowing people to stay in the hotels for a little too long, like an extra day or two, which sounds nice, but it's like hard for them to afford. You know, little stuff like that. Thank you for the $5 from that guy. What kind of polish do you use on that noggin here? I don't.
For their flights, and got Getty images to get their pictures taken. These include those in the Poggers community like Hassan, Denims, Frogan,
Is that true? Okay.
Casey Tron, Esfun, Amaranth, and various other quote-unquote safe content creators. It's very clear Anissa just wanted to invite a bunch of her streamer friends to come.
I felt like a bigger part of the issue was like the amount of time for the other creators that actually fought, but maybe that's part of it. Okay.
To get in their good graces, and she then threw various parties. This was to the...
Well, it makes sense to get bigger streamers, whether you like them or not, to go there, because that's publicity. If Hassan's there, people that like Hassan are more likely to watch. If, you know, yeah.
The detriment of charity, though neither Anissa or her husband will admit it.
It makes sense to me as to why Anissa would want to get chummy with this group and why she would roll her eyes at Casanet for not wanting to associate with them. Out of all of Anissa's content that I've seen, I've never been impressed once. If she can get in with a group where association is more important than creativity, that would be a great boon to her career. And if you can't get into the Poggers community through talent, then just buy your way in. Just throw money at some of the most popular creators to get involved with your event without regard of profit. And if it doesn't work, what does Anissa care? It's Ian's money after all.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, when it comes to the Creator Clash, it makes it makes sense if it's an influencer boxing thing to try to associate positively with other influencer spheres. Kind of just like a business tactic at that point. No, you know, I don't think that she thinks they're terrible people. If she did, that would be hypocritical. But if she thinks that they're fine people, but she's trying to associate with them to, you know, better the brand, that makes perfect sense. I don't really see the criticism there, but okay.
We just know that we're very aware that we're fine, and we can do this for a few years without taking any sort of salary.
But
so
don't. Why would you do that? I want you guys to take care of yourselves.
Yeah. Well, we are taken care of. We're good. We're smart. We're adults.
Yeah, but why are you going to dig into your whatever? Okay.
So why is Anissa trying?
Well, okay. So just to be clear, I will say that if their take is like, hey, we don't need to make money on this, we want to just like do this for a while, that makes them seem like they kind of are enjoying doing it for the charity of it all. No. Like, doesn't that kind of debunk the narrative that they're just kind of grifters? Isn't that the general point that you're trying to make? I don't know.
Trying to please these streamers? Well, because her and Ian's career needed a rebrand, after how devastating the OnlyFans drama and Sam Hyde drama was for their image. Anissa wants to associate herself with a group of creators who care less about making...
I don't really think that the Sam Hyde or OnlyFans thing were that damaging to their image. Personally, I think, again, the bigger part that like is damaging was the over apologizing for the shift. Nobody really cared that much about the Sam Hyde thing. Well, in my opinion, or nobody that mattered. I don't know. But it's more of this, the over apologizing for the old content. It was like, it was just so, it was annoying. And I've made this point before, but it's like one of those things where when the disproportionality of your apology is just so annoying, right? It's almost, you almost become a victim in your own scenario. Like, I look back at content that I made in the past, I'm not proud of it all. Like, yeah, okay, sorry. But it's like one of those things where, let's say you have a really toxic mom, and, you know, you talk to her one day, and you're like, you know, hey, listen, like, you know, you kind of fucked me up a little bit when you were raising me. And if the mom's like, wow, I didn't know that, that's shitty. I'm like, I'm really sorry for that. You know, hopefully we can move forward and build our relationship, right? That's a good conversation. If she starts crying and weeping, I'm so sorry, I'm a terrible mother, I'm going to take my own life, I'm going to do... All of a sudden, like, the energy shifts from that person that was the bad person in the scenario to being like the victim. So they kind of like almost victimize themselves. And I feel like that's almost what iDubbbz did to an extent, not intentionally. But that's what it comes down to. Like the over apologizing, like the fucking going on and apologizing for criticizing that Jinxie guy who did no reaction other than putting his face on a screen because he was black. Because that's one of the things he did. He went on to a podcast or with some fucking black woman, and she's like, "You're racist to him. There are people who do his stuff and nobody criticizes them." No, there's not. And he's like, "Yeah, you're right." It's like, no, he didn't do any actual reaction. That was the problem. He would just sit there and just make a smile at the fucking camera, like he, you know. So, just to be clear, like these are the issues I think, and you know what, people are going to criticize him regardless. To be clear, but I feel like there's people out there that are reasonable, like myself. I like to think I'm reasonable, that are more turned off by the over apologizing because it just gets annoying. Thank you for the $5 from here for the memes. Nico and Zerko walk into a basement. There are 2 girls in there, 2 bottles of Smirnoff, and Nick Fuentes stream playing. Who checks the girl's ID first? I don't think anybody does.
Can get content and more about branding. She also sees her.
I mean, like Sneeko, like I'm pretty sure Fuentes legitimately said he wants to marry like a 16-year-old girl. Sneeko says that a girl's old enough as long as she looks mature. Zerka is fucking disgusting. So
audience is a judgment-free zone when it comes to questionable adult content. This is one of the main reasons why Ian has been going on this apology tour, as his old reputation of being this edgy comedian will not gel well with people like Hassan or Ludwig.
I don't think that that's true. Personally, I don't. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think that Ian's going on apology tours as like some kind of a grift. I think that he's doing it because he feels bad. That's it. It's annoying as shit. I don't think that he's like poor intention though. That's what I'm saying. Like I don't think that he's a bad person. I think it's annoying when you over apologize because it just becomes fucking annoying. So
he twists this narrative by saying he's genuinely trying to change.
He probably is trying to change, you know,
due to personal growth, instead of being honest and admitting he can't make that sort of content anymore due to the changing terms of service.
No, he could still make the content. That's one of the annoying parts. Like there was a lot of good in his content that's still up on his page, and he over apologized for like all of it. That's the issue. What are you talking about? Like some of the stuff did push a boundary. He should apologize for that stuff, but he acts like his entire like backlog of his career is like terrible dog shit. And he disavows his fans too hard and kind of boils it down to like everybody who ever enjoyed him was just like an edgy fuck that loves the N-word. Thank you for the $10 from that guy. How much for you to buy and wear a wizard hat for the next stream? You'd make a fine wizard, against Mr. Gandalf the Wise. I appreciate that. I have one. Someone sent it to me a while ago. It's called a Grand Wizard's hat. I have that. But he said they didn't send me the outfit, but a bed sheet would work. I don't really know what he's talking about, so maybe I'll wear that next stream. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
I mean, Max, Mofo, and Anything for Views have been honest about it. Why can't Ian? Now that his former fanbase hates him, he has more motivation to assimilate into this friend group. Creator Clash is now...
Are you saying that he destroyed his relationship with his old fans just to be forced to have to... Wouldn't it make more sense that he wouldn't apologize to his old audience? Or would it make more sense that he wouldn't apologize in general? And just keep his old audience that would enjoy his boxing stuff more? Doesn't that make more sense than him completely shifting to a new audience? Like, this doesn't really make any logical sense. If he was grifting, wouldn't he just be like, oh, I'm going to continue to maintain this audience I have because I have a lot of people that I could get money from if they engage with the Creator Clash? Like, this doesn't make any sense to me.
Just an event for Ian and Anissa to morally posture how safe and accepting they are, while flat out slandering those they deem risky. Anissa in particular has stated how she does not like unpredictable people.
I don't like unpredictable people.
Me neither.
Period. I just don't.
Period, sis.
When you work with people, you have to accept that you're inviting chaos, and you can like watch the chaos and like try and guide it softly as much as you can, but like when you try to like grab onto it and control it, you're only asking for like pain on your end and pain for like the event.
What's wrong with what you're saying?
And sometimes you really do have to make the call of like, I have.
Thank you for the $2 from Gus Gundam. That's what I'm calling you. The bed sheet would be the only thing that would fit. Okay. Wow, that was actually very funny. Fuck, I don't like you. You piece of shit. That was fucking funny.
To take my hands completely off and just like accept that I'm working with unpredictable people.
Yeah, it makes sense that you wouldn't want to work with unpredictable people because they are unpredictable, guys.
This is why they kicked Froggy Fresh out of the second Creator Clash. He's not predictable. He's not...
Well, I think that... Listen, here's the thing, because I feel bad for the guy. I used to love his music, okay? Moneymaker Mike, baby. You know? Krispy Kreme. But the reality is that as much of a cuck as iDubbbz might be, Sam Hyde is very unpredictable. And it's difficult to work with somebody like that. their message would be relayed better if, again, iDubbbz didn't over-apologize for like everything he's ever done as if it was like a fucking mortal sin. The guy acts like he crucified Jesus Christ himself. But like generally speaking, from a business sense, it would make sense that you wouldn't want to work with Sam Hyde because he's just unpredictable and he's difficult to work with. And when you have charity events going on, charity events that require things to go well, it makes sense to not want to associate with that person. And so like I don't, from a business perspective, like it makes perfect sense. You know, the problem is like that's the messenger. You know, that's the messenger. It's like when you have like a soy boy fucking 5'2", you know, Reddit user talking about how bad Andrew Tate is. It's like, yeah, he is, but you know, who the fuck's gonna listen? Now I know you think I'm talking about myself, okay, guys, but I'm at least 5'3".
Not as easy to manipulate as the other fighters, as seen with the text messages Ian leaked between him and Froggy. They also don't like how unpredictable Sam Hyde is, which is why he was banned from the first creator clash.
That makes sense.
And labeled a business risk.
If anyone saw the...
He is a business risk. Even if you like him. I feel like anybody who legitimately enjoys and watches Sam Hyde regularly knows he's a business risk. That's probably why you like him in the first place. So, yeah.
Documentary, Getting Away with It. We worked with Sam Hyde for a period, and it was tough. You know, he was wanting to put on his own show, and he did, and it was funny. But he's not a super cooperative guy. He's very unpredictable. So involving him in our event just isn't a good idea. I think most people would.
Business risk.
I think most people would understand.
Yeah, which makes sense. I mean, I would understand that. You're trying to. This is their first creator clash or second or whatever, but it's from the first jump. You want it to go well. Advertisers might pull out anyway if he's associated because he has like a little bit of an edgy past. So
yeah, it's a huge business risk. I mean,
I find this funny because if anything, they are business risks.
Nah, Sam Hyde is much more of a business risk than iDubbbz is, and what they're saying it makes perfect sense.
I mean, the second event lost a shitload of money. Also, despite how edgy Sam's comedy is, nothing is more of a business risk than having a porn website as one of your sponsors.
Nope. Porn is probably more acceptable than the type of humor Sam Hyde does. He has like a little bit of a weird past with, and I'm not personally care that much, even as a Jew. Like you know, having some farther right background. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm educated on it. I don't really care. I don't dislike the guy, but from like a business perspective, he's 100% more of a risk than anything else. And the unpredictability makes that as part of it. I feel like you don't watch Sam Hyde, so you probably aren't like aware. I don't watch him very much either. But from the stuff I've seen, he's super fucking edgy. And again, that's what people like about him, but it makes him a brand risk. You know, there's a reason why nobody works with him. Even Adult Swim dropped him, right? You might like him, but again, that's what it is. So to sit here and try to suggest that Fansly is more of a risk than Sam Hyde is silly goosery. Now, you might want to believe the opposite, but this is just where the social atmosphere is at. If you think things should change, that's fine. But yeah, he's definitely more of a risk. I don't know how you don't know that.
And having various degenerate ethos like Anissa and Amaranth taking part as staff. Honestly, the problem with these creator events is that it's just a way.
The brands didn't drop out for them. The brands would probably drop out for the other thing, for Sam Hyde.
Way for these people to brag about how amazing their community is, without showcasing their hard work, and then excluding those that don't fit their specific set of morals. You'll never see a more risque streamer win an award. That's why many of these winners are random people.
What are you talking about? Kai Cenat incited a fucking riot in New York City and he won an award. Risque streamers do win awards. Let's be fucking real.
Well, only terminally online Twitch users know. They'd rather give those awards to them than anyone controversial. For example, the winner of Best Streamed Event should have been, well, Fish Tank Live. It made over $1 million and actually produced entertaining content. But these LA influencers have a hate bone.
But that's a very edgy event. That was a very... I've seen some clips of it. It's fucking crazy. It's wild as fuck, dude. Again, it's entertaining, but it's too edgy. It's a lot.
For Sam Hyde and MDE, so don't even expect them to mention him.
It's like abusive Big Brother, which is already somehow abusive. So it's fucking crazy.
It's kind of bizarre that this one man, without doing anything, has turned into the boogeyman. That like a bunch of LA people just fear to the point that they cannot even say his name. It's so bizarre.
Okay.
Just like with normal celebrities, this friend group is always getting themselves into loads of different scandals. They've done a decent job at covering them up, or making sure people forget about them. I won't. There's quite a few I want
let's hear it.
to mention, but first we'll go over the fiasco that was the Streamer Wars after party. Basically, Justin Minks got really drunk, and QT
Yeah, Justin Minks is a fucking disastrous mess.
Cinderella decided to publicly blast her for this. She wrote on Twitter, "You were drunk before the after party. I almost had you thrown out of the show because
It sounds like they had a confrontation that started with Justin Minks, and she's responding, just to be clear.
you were yelling and making everyone uncomfortable. I've tried everything with..."
That's probably true. She's had multiple public meltdowns. I've seen a video about it. All right, just look up Papa Got Justin Minks. Don't watch the core video, which is a Turkey Town video. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. Go watch that instead if you want an actual decent video. But you could watch me talk about it too if you want. Thank you for the $2 from Jeremiah Wright. The riot was AI generated. Oh, Joe spread this information. Fuck, you're right, dude. I'm so sorry.
You. rehab, everything. I hope this is your rock bottom. Get help.
Yeah, usually people have to hit their rock bottom before they get help, so I think that's what she means.
Wow, QTC, I like that one example you gave. Now, Minx is
Jessa Minx is like a known to be fucking like a substance abuser. What are you talking about?
innocent in the situation, but she clearly has a massive drinking problem her friends are reluctant to help her with.
They've tried to help her, and also like this is where you're gonna definitely lose people. Like here's the thing: it's very difficult to deal with people and their drug addictions. Alcohol is a drug. It's very hard to help people like that. There's only so much you can do, and at the end of the day, they're not going to change unless they want to change. And so that's pretty much it, man. You know, she's fucking doing goddamn drugs. What are they supposed to do?
I mean, for years, others in the streamer community were basically encouraging it.
Is this a turnoff? This is such a Melina, please, Melina.
To some extent, like that is a good criticism, that because it made it entertaining when she would be a meltdown mess. So absolutely, there is a level of blame there for some of these people. 100%, I agree with that. But they have, after the fact, tried to help in some capacity, and there's only so much they could do. You know?
She actually can't. She actually can't. Listen to me. He's cutting us. Melina. No, she can't. Okay, I'll put it back in the cabinet. Stop. She actually can't. Stop. She actually can't. What's wrong with you? Stop.
QTC also lied about Minx not having a seizure, a statement she walked back on later.
Apparently, upon walking her out, she went limp with the intention of making it harder to kick her out. You know, dead body weight is much harder to that. And in doing so, then
Tactical.
Yeah, tactical. Some other stuff happens. All of a sudden, she's just laying on the ground, limp, and no longer cooperating and getting removed from the party.
QTC pretty much used the situation as an excuse to virtue signal about how good of a friend she is.
That might be true, or she might have had a legitimate seizure. I don't know. I mean, it could be. It doesn't sound out of the purview of what she would do.
Before blacklisting Minx in the Poggers community, wow, what a good friend. I hope when I'm going.
Well, what do you? So I'm not understanding. Just be clear. How do you know it was actually a seizure? And where's the walk back? Because it might have legitimately just been her doing that to try to not get kicked out of the party. What do you mean?
Through addiction, my friends throw me under the bus.
Basically,
I don't think that you understand people with addictions at all. Like, I know them better than you do, you probably. I think to you, like, an addiction is just like a silly little thing that's easy to get over with if you have help from your friends. It's just not. It's a lot. People with addictions are a lot to deal with. It's tough. It's a very tough thing, and you can't expect everybody to take time out of their day and deal with your shit all the time, you know. And these people, you could definitely argue, might have had a negative impact on their addiction, you know, because they thought she was funny when she was drunk. They also may not have realized the extent of her fucking addiction. But at the end of the day, like, she's only going to get better if she decides that she wants to get better. And it's a very tough process, because being addicted to anything is very difficult to get away from. But it takes more than just some friends going, "Heidi-ho!" There's only so much you can do. Thank you for the $2 from here for the memes. Jets. What the fuck is Jets, dude? I don't watch sports. I don't have a father.
my take on this is pretty much that Minx is damaged goods. Kind of no reason to interact with her anymore. Her career's on the decline, but she still has enough clout to cause trouble. So I think that Cutie Cinderella's trying to get her to die sooner. I can understand detaching yourself from an addict, but I can't understand putting them under massive amounts of public scrutiny unless you wanted them to kill themselves.
It sounded like they were having a public confrontation that, from what it seemed like and what you showed us, was started with Minx. I don't know what the... Okay, I don't know. Okay, if that's what you think. It just seems like these people do as much as they can to try to make it seem like these fucking people are so, like, terrible and predatory. Like, what the fuck? Like, she wants to spiral and kill herself. That's why she's saying these things. Oh, really? You think that? Okay. It's interesting.
Minx isn't the only streamer they've thrown under the bus. There's also Adriana Lee. Now, remember when all the big streamers were trying to get gambling off Twitch? Well, basically, this started because It's Slicker scammed his fans for more gambling money. This led to streamers like Pokimane and Mizkif calling him out and asking Twitch to do something about gambling. One of the defenders of gambling was Trainwreck, resulting in beef between him and Mizkif. Trainwreck then dropped a bombshell.
Yeah, and this is the thing, because I didn't like... this is the thing. That situation was very interesting. First of all, the fact that they saved that this bombshell situation as a retaliation effect definitely diminishes what happened. Just to be absolutely clear, I think this whole thing got overhyped in general. I think the bigger issue was the potential trying to cover it up. But the whole Adriana Lee situation, that situation blew up. Like, I watched like 4 hours of what was going on there. And it really boiled down to everybody got drunk at a party. She was passed out. Apparently, what is it, Slicker? Or there's like two different people. They have like the same fucking name. Slicker, and then they're like, it's Slick, whatever. The other guy, not the bald fucking gambling addict. Would go in the room and check on her, and his excuse was he was checking her pulse but touched her chest area, And she's claiming it was sexual assault. There were a bunch of friends watching it. Don't know why they wouldn't stop it. One of the friends I saw on her stream comment that, like, yeah, he touched you in the chest area, not saying that it was an explicit sexual touch. It also came out that she got drunk one time and she decided to touch like another guy inappropriately another time. You know, it's it was definitely treated like it's interesting how disproportionate some of these conversations got. You know, so not a great scenario to happen. But I think the bigger issue is, one, that the potential cover-up from Mizkif, and also it's shitty that why would you save that as a clap back to somebody criticizing you gambling? It's bizarre as fuck. Thank you for the $2 from Lewis Rigby. Crazy Slick, that was his name, yeah.
Exposing Mizkif and various other streamers in the Poggers community of covering up a sexual assault. The victim in question was Adriana Lee, who alleges she was sexually assaulted by Crazy Slick, not to be confused with It's Slicker. When this initially happened in 2021, Mizkif sent his at-the-time girlfriend, Maya Higa, and friend, Mitch Jones, over to Adriana to get the full story out of her. Maya gaslit Adriana into changing certain parts of the story, and subtly threatened her. Then, Mizkif began downplaying the situation, and told other streamers to not interact with Adriana.
Did Miz explicitly give direction to you and Maya and fucking
I'm not gonna get back
whoever the fuck else was in that room to go to Adriana's house and to quote-unquote downplay the situation or find a way to save Slick's ass? Yes or no?
The answer to that is yes.
Other girls then came forward with other accusations against Crazy Slick, like his history of sexual harassment. Once this all came to light, streamers like Pokimane and Hassan also tried downplaying the situation, though in a more subtle way.
Are you going to send Maya and Mitch to railroad and blackmail me?
Thank you for the $5 from that guy. You're giving the dwarfs in Deep Rock a run for their money with that beard. Thank you. And PS when the OnlyFans? I don't know, bro.
Like, you did
What?
those girls to
Never.
cover up those sexual assaults, you fucking scumbag piece of shit. You want
What
to come
the
at me and make
fuck?
shit up, then you better be sure you don't live in a glass house, you insecure. I'm lost.
I don't even. Holy shit. Are you going to send Maya and Mitch to railroad and blackmail? Like, dude, all those girls cover up the sexual assaults. You fucking
Wait, what
scumbag
does it
piece of
mean
shit.
to
You want to come at me and make shit up?
railroad
Then you
him?
better be sure you don't live in a glass house, you insecure pussy.
I literally just read it. What does it mean to railroad him?
I don't know. What the fuck?
They fucking knew about this, and stayed quiet to not ruin their community's reputation. They pretended to care about this, with certain streamers like Ludwig covering parts of the story. OTK, the streaming organization Mizkif is in, said they put together an internal investigation. This was done to privatize any dirt they found on themselves.
Initially talking about OTK investigating themselves because they did immediately make it clear they were sending it off to the Jackson Walker LLP, or a third-party investigation firm. I think the reason why people are saying that now is because they didn't publicize the results. Of course, I haven't finished the video yet. I wonder if Ludwig has the same take on it that I do, but I think it's a huge disservice to take something so public and then privatize the information that was found. It makes it very hard to take their word for it and trust everything was done fairly, over the board, everything treated equally, and reaching this conclusion. I just think this needed to be public.
Nothing ever happened, and Mizkif was simply given a slap on the wrist. He was briefly kicked out of OTK, and then brought right back in when another scandal happened. OTK's founder, Rich Campbell, had accusations of his own, which had been covered up for about a year.
I don't know anything about the Rich Campbell thing. I don't even know who the fuck that is.
Who knows how many other
Did I ever cover that?
cases of sexual assault have happened within this community that these guys are trying to cover up. If they really cared, they'd, call the police. This is all for PR, to make it seem like they care, before silently blacklisting Adriana Lee. They did this for the same reason they did it to Minx.
I mean, maybe. It's also possible, not to be an asshole, that what happened to Adriana Lee is bad and unfortunate, and she's also just boring as shit and not a very good streamer. Like, I don't mean to be a fucking asshole, but... like, have you ever considered that she's just not interesting? This is the thing, is like back in 2020 especially, tons of people blew up for no fucking reason, because there were tons of people home, and they were bored, and they wanted something to look at. And then people blew up, and they weren't able to maintain it, because nobody gave a shit about them anymore. So it's also a possible factor that she's just not interesting. People don't really care about her content, and that's why they don't associate, not because they're blacklisting her, but because she's not fucking entertaining. I don't know if that's true. But, yeah, this could be a part of it.
Because these people became a serious threat to the community's reputation. Though in this particular situation, Minx isn't innocent either. She briefly defended Crazy Slick, though eventually took her statements back. Since then, this collective has swept these controversies under the rug, with Mizkif and friends being invited to the Streamer Awards with front row seats. I find this also funny because these guys are making such a big deal about the accusations Amaranth made. Amaranth fired up a Twitter.
Well, those seemed reasonably credible, those accusations. I mean, I guess some of them could be false, but they seemed decently credible. That her ex-boyfriend or husband, I guess at the time, had a pretty big amount of control over her and was abusive. I mean, we heard him yelling, right? That's pretty fucked up. Thank you for the $5 from 8OTU. I personally think that she should have handled it in private, but still, like, I don't see any, you know, this seemed pretty reasonably credible. Thank you for $5 from 8OTU. Just found your channel recently. Now I listen to you while I drive to work, while I work and drive home. LOL, my first time on one of your streams. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate it.
Twitch stream in late 2022, where she revealed a load of information about herself. She claimed she's been married for some time now, a secret she kept, so her horny fans could think they can have a chance of her. She showed
Sure. I mean, they do that, like BTS does that too. Like other like bands do that, like One Direction and shit. They do that too. I mean, I find it interesting that we criticize things. Like, for instance, one of the biggest criticisms I see is like, oh, if a famous male streamer dates a girl, he's a fucking rapist. And it's like, okay, what about groupies? Like girls in general, people in general, but girls in general like to fuck with successful guys sometimes. I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's groupies. We've known about groupies for fucking ever, okay?
Said insists her husband has been controlling over her by forcing her to do OnlyFans, and he's had control over her bank account. She then happened to get a phone call from this husband, who doesn't know she's alive, despite her stating how controlling he is. Like, how would he not know you're on live stream shit-talking him?
Okay.
All the while, she's crying to pull at people's heartstrings. And many of the big streamers believed her without question.
Well, what makes you not believe her? I still haven't seen anything to this day that makes it non-credible. I don't understand.
With the main consensus being that if you don't believe her 100%, you're a horrible person.
Even when she's doing it live, it's very obvious that there's still people that don't fucking believe her. And part of the reason why people don't believe her
is because they hate women, right?
Is because she's a woman. Men
I'm fucking smart as hell.
often do not want to be empathetic to the plight of women in situations like this.
That's true. I hate fucking women. Just kidding. I hate fucking women. That's why I fuck men.
And also because she's a sex worker. So like, it's just like a double bind of you know, doubly misogynistic shit where people just like don't see you as a human being in any meaningful capacity.
We don't even know who this husband guy is.
Probably her husband. I don't know.
Not to mention what his side of the story is. Again,
what the fuck? Wait, what's your argument?
And the only proof is a phone call and text messages, screenshots.
So you're saying that she... It's a little crazy, but I guess you're saying that it wasn't the actual husband. It was a random guy so she could orchestrate an event to garner sympathy? So it's a conspiracy? I mean, I guess that could be true. Why do you believe that?
So text messages from someone named Sherry. Yeah, I don't think it's a guy's name. Apparently...
I imagine that if this was a real conspiracy, she would have just changed the name to something else.
Her husband's name was Nick. Why couldn't she just show the actual messages? If she was making screenshots to post them online, then she neglected to do that. Only 2 days...
I imagine that Nick, the husband, would have come forward maybe, and if it wasn't true, maybe I'm wrong.
After the allegations were made, she announced that the situation had been dealt with. It only took 2 days for you to get complete control over everything, huh? She also implied...
Maybe, if there was enough public pressure.
She stopped doing OnlyFans, since her husband wouldn't be pressuring her anymore, and then went right back to spreading her gaping anus for her 14-year-old fans.
Okay, well, she didn't spread for 14. Okay, whatever. Anyway, I think the bigger issue is that he would force her to do it when she didn't necessarily want to do it. It would be the bigger issue. Now she has control over it, so it's her decision. It's like a psychological thing. It's not super uncommon or unrelatable, but okay.
So why would Amaranth do this? Well,
maybe he actually was abusive. I don't know.
Multiple reasons. 1, publicity. All the big streamers ended up talking about her, presenting her as an innocent...
Listen, man, I'm sure part of her brain was like online brain rotted, and like I said, I don't think that she should have done it publicly. You should have set that like boundary pretty stern. But again, there's a consistency in this video of putting the most negative spin on everything that's happening over and over again. And I think it's just like a bad pathway to go down. Like, why did she do this? At this point, this guy doesn't believe it happened at all. He's not on the fence. He's just like, why did she do this? Publicity, obviously, for attention, publicity. Or maybe it happened and she has a bad boundary that she set, because a lot of times online creators set poor boundaries with their audiences and they cry too much on stream, like Cutie Cinderella. That was a bad boundary. She shouldn't have went on the stream and cried to people, even if she was upset. She has a right to be upset, but that's, like, in my opinion, crossing a line. Maybe it's just being stupid. You know, there's also this interpretation there where people, like, yeah, they go through real things, but then they do talk about them on the internet for attention in a way that, again, it's not really particularly productive or healthy for their mental health. You know, showing like your kid, well, you just want to show your kid, but like having family channels is like another instance of setting a bad boundary. There's so many there's so many instances of bad boundary settings on the internet that we're very new to, you know? But, yeah, okay, sure, let's continue.
Good person. 2, it gives her an excuse to divorce her husband and make her fans think she's single again.
Or maybe she's actually, okay.
3, more money. She gets to collect some money from her husband. So why do these guys...
She was the primary breadwinner. Wouldn't he collect money from her? Like, I don't understand. Okay.
Believe Amaranth and not Adriana? Well, simple. Because Amaranth has a lot more influence. That's all these care about.
The thing that...
Dude, this guy's so weird. This guy is interesting. I would almost bet that he only believes the Adriana situation because it helps the narrative of him hating Poggers streamers, which I don't particularly care for either. But like, why do you not believe Amaranth? It's just weird. Like, I understand having a hint of doubt, but this guy's like obsessed to hating her, and he keeps using that word. It's weird. Okay, I mean, I used it before too. I guess it's just like you really hate these people. He might actually just hate women. I don't know. Like, I don't even usually go there, but what the fuck?
Grind
Base, by the way.
is my gears. It's the people who say that she has nothing to gain and everything to lose. No, she's a Twitch streamer. She has nothing to lose. Twitch streamers can literally get away with anything. You know why? Because they spend 8+ hours a day brainwashing their audience. This kid was literally covering up a sexual assault 3 months ago, and now all his fans say it was fake. Like what the fuck? Like, there's literally a video of him admitting it. I maintain to this day that Hassan Piker could go into a school with a gun, kill a series of children. You could have a full recording of this event, and just show it to his audience, and they would respond, whoa, 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 whoa. Where's the full context? If this is actually fake, her audience isn't going to care. You don't exactly watch Amaranth for her wit and intellect. You watch her for her cracking tits. Do not believe a woman on the internet just because she cries on live stream. All these female Twitch streamers do it. Alinity did it. Pokimane did it. Emeru did it.
These are
Okay. I don't know, man. It's getting a little incelly, the vibes, but maybe I'm just wrong. I don't know.
Definitely the biggest scandals, but there are many others I've already mentioned throughout this video. There's XQC's kick deal, and Pokimane's manipulation of him, Hassan interviewing a terrorist, the Atrioc deepfake situation, and way more. There's constant
You talked about all those.
infighting in this community, but then they cover it up once each situation has died down, and they pretend to be friends again. Their audiences don't seem to care, as I believe these guys are out looking for outside opinions.
Well, it's not necessarily normal to hyper obsess about everybody's past problems that they go through.
The Poggers community is basically one big nepotism club. These guys only care about wealth and reputation, and will ostracize anyone that could cause harm to that. They pretend to be these kind, accepting, humble creators who want to provide interesting content for their viewers, when that couldn't be any more false. They are spiteful, rash, hateful, and filled with ego. Their content is also lazy, since they rely more on their audiences having parasocial relationships with them.
Okay.
They have no strong sets of morals, which is why many of these guys come off as hypocrites.
You can't market explicit material through objectification and then preach about how men need to treat women better. You know
why? Why can't you? You could treat pores better. So you know you could treat prostitutes decently. You don't have to beat them. You know.
Normalize and capitalize off of antisocial behavior just to turn around and detest those who are different than you. You laugh at and mock other celebrities' domestic disputes only for the same issues to lie within your own community. You are not moral or good people. It may be what you market, but it's not what you practice. The ways you'll sell.
I think it's interesting because from what I'm seeing, it seems like these individuals are like just the opposite of the parasocial fans. Like they're obsessed in the opposite direction. Like, I don't particularly care for these people, but you seem to hate them so much that you've, like, overthought and added as much malicious intent to all their behavior as possible. Like, you're, like, obsessed in the opposite direction. You're obsessed with hating them instead of obsessed with liking them. It just seems a little bizarre. Thank you for the $2 from Gus Gundam again. How are you going to play this much and be bad? Bro, shut up.
Celebrate an 18-year-old's ability to sell herself. Jesus. But if someone criticizes or challenges them in any way, they're somehow the bad guy. It's disgusting.
These are streamers that nobody should be looking up to. Now, as stated earlier, not every single member of the Poggers community is bad, but those I heavily mentioned are people like Hassan, Asmongold, Denims, Nisa, Casey Tron.
Why is Asmongold bad? I don't get it.
XQC, QT Cinderella, Ludwig, Amaranth, Frogan.
I understand why Hassan and Frogan are bad. I don't really understand the rest of them.
Pokimane, Mizkif, Maya Higa, and Crazy
I guess Mizkif too.
Slick. These are not good people. If you are fans of these people, question.
And I guess Crazy Slick too. I didn't really think he still made content. I'm pretty sure that guy's fucking gone.
Yourself why. It's okay to be a casual watcher of somebody, but you shouldn't be idolizing these guys. The thing is, there's good live stream content out there, and not all reaction content is lazy slop.
This guy really likes... I mean, listen, it's cool that you like Sam Hyde so much, but it sounds like you're just fucking guzzling that guy's cum.
But those are the top, who already made their millions, don't care about producing good content. These
people, just to be clear, what you're saying is people are stupid and they like this content because they're dumb. It is lazy. It doesn't mean it's necessarily bad. It resonates with people. Like, people like podcasty type shit now. It's really gaining traction. And I think that there's a lot of reasons why. Like, people are a bit lonelier now, and I think that has a lot to do with social media, disconnecting people's relationships. I think that that's definitely a big one, but I also think that people don't necessarily want a huge production because a lot of times when they engage with this stuff, it's while they're doing something else. I'm driving to work. yeah, let's say you're driving to work, you're probably going to want to watch a podcast because you don't really want to miss any of the visual stimulation. But if all they're doing is talking, even if there is a video, you don't necessarily care. People do when they're doing homework, doing the dishes, doing laundry. It's easier to engage with a podcast and just noise than it is to engage with like something that's a little bit higher effort. I'm not saying that high effort is bad. I'm just saying that like low effort doesn't necessarily matter. Again, the issue would be that you have a problem with full reactions to content, and that's fine. But the effort isn't the real issue, right? I mean, Joe Rogan has a very successful podcast. Like, he brings people on and everything, but he's sitting down and he's talking. That's not bad, right? It's lower effort than like an actual TV production, but we don't have an issue with the low effort. It still is entertaining to people. It satisfies a niche. That's why a lot of people are doing podcasts. It's lower effort than actually having to do like a legitimate production of a thing.
Streamers will literally sit there for 8 hours watching TV shows and complain how hard it is. This group won't be around forever though, as these scandals are slowly getting to them. There's quite a bit of division now, and those like Hassan are publicly unraveling. Like, bro, what gave you the nerve to post this shit? Thanks for watching this long-ass video, and don't forget to watch the previous episodes of the series if you haven't already. Also, leave suggestions below for who I should cover next.
Alright, interesting video. Cool. Enough of that.